We're here.
Good stuff. Splendid even.
Splendid. Look at that. I even remembered to update my stream title this time instead of having the previous one.
Never done that.
Yeah, I've never seen any of you do that at all.
It's been like something both of us have consistently done.
Yeah.
Anyways, why is Duke here? We didn't invite him yet.
I need my goes live.
I should probably
That's good.
make sure I have water in here.
Yes, I'll make sure everyone gets hydrated
I do. I'm prepared.
and all that
With
good
me.
stuff. Or I'll be very upset with you all.
Yeah.
I'll call you names.
Oh.
I've got a San Pellegrino.
Ooh. Can't believe it's almost over. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
know.
let me get my
Been an
my other
incredible.
stuff up.
It's been an incredible tournament. Very
Ooh,
fun.
dying.
I even played in it.
Yeah,
Did.
you did very well.
I got abducted last minute.
Yeah,
Rather
I shoved you
drafted.
Is
into
that
a
a-
box. Teams are in their voice channels. We love to see it.
Oh. One team is, at least. Can I not see... I don't think I can... I think I still don't have permissions to see 1-800's channel after last week.
You should not.
I see. Okay.
You played, and therefore you're
Yeah.
biased and cannot be trusted.
Biased. Alright. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not to worry.
1-800 beat :3, so I hate 1-800 now and will be calling them names the entire time I'm casting.
Please do not. Where's the Catboy? Is the Catboy even
The
gonna be showing
Catboy's...
up?
No, Catboy's on vacation. It's just...
Oh! I thought the Catboy was gonna be on today.
No, Catboy
Oopsies.
is indisposed.
I'm allowed to make one mistake as a treat. It's an inconsequential one at that.
All right, success. My OBS works.
Ooh,
Very good. I'm proud of you.
good.
Oh boy, I'm gonna get the players ready. Do we bring all of them up to the event stage? All 8 players, so they can
No.
have a little
No,
moment,
that
you
would
know.
be chaos.
Well,
No, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That would
why would
never.
there...
You suggesting people like Black Bat and Duke would start shouting over the top of everyone and Hunter, you know?
Yes, yes, I am suggesting that. I'm in fact stating that outright.
No, I don't think so. I think I'll bring them all up on the stage.
All right, well, I think I'll stay here. Y'all have fun with that.
All right, I'll join the stage. I'll
No,
listen
I'll
to
do
the chaos.
I'll do the 2 team leaders, and I'd like the casters to say a little piece each, if you'd care to.
What?
Just like a little like, good luck everyone
Oh, okay.
going in.
I'm like, I don't have I don't have a speech prepared. What do you mean?
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck? What is this last minute? Give a speech about the state of the tournament.
You see,
I'm giving you each 4 minutes. Oh, hot mic, just fucking go for it.
well, you see, 1-800, they beat my team last week, so awful team, horrible.
Oh, God.
Unplayable.
I should have done that to you all. It would have been great.
Oh my
It would
god,
have been terrible, but it would have been great.
I would have.
See, the problem with handing me a few minutes is I'll go into academic bullshitium mode.
Oh, then I just
and you're gonna
drag
get,
you
like,
down.
half an hour of empty garbage pretending to be a grant proposal.
There you go. Beautiful.
You know, maybe the reason why the state of education is so low is because people like you started getting into the teaching roles, dog. Oh, I'm sorry. Please don't cry. Please don't cry.
Oh,
Please
yeah.
don't cry.
People
Oh,
like
yeah.
people like you.
People like me, it's definitely not like I was forced to do that shit, and that's why I'm good at it. I just happen to be full of shit all the time.
I mean, you are.
I mean, it's hard to empty oneself of shit, you know.
You have experience in that.
Does that one go in quotes? It's hard to empty oneself
I'm a
of shit.
vacuum pump, okay? I empty myself out.
What is that Firefly quote?
Dog,
about
you are the
emptying money of
colostomy
blood?
bag of Neb.
Thank you.
Oh no. Oh, this is a great start.
Listen, this isn't live, you know. This isn't really live. It's live, but it's not live. I'm not streaming, therefore I can say whatever I want.
Please don't get me banned.
Why do you think I'd say something that would get you banned, huh? That gets me very angry, and I might say something.
I'm sorry. The phrase.
Mention
Yeah, the phrase.
existence of bodily functions, so that's bannable on Twitch.
Is it now?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I got an email from them that was like, "Hey, we're concerned about the content of your stream. You need more advertiser-friendly content." It's like, don't have sexual content or drug use and other stuff on your stream. Who the fuck?
Who?
What are y'all talking about?
Someone narked on you. That's what it sounds like.
Apparently.
Yeah, sorry, that was me. I needed to get rid of the competition.
No, it was
You know?
me. You stole all my PTB players last weekend.
Good.
GG.
Okay, I'm gonna go get the players all together, give them a whole. Actually, no, I'm not even gonna do it that time. I'm just gonna like go to the event stage. We all know what you're supposed to do this stage. There's no need to
Hell
hype
yeah.
them up. No need to hype them up.
You're
Just they
sheer
know what they
confidence.
expect.
Are they gonna notice that we're going to the event stage, or are they just gonna sit in here?
Perhaps there's this thing I could do. I have a keyboard. Perhaps I can do things with it, Scapegoat.
Oh dear.
That's what I'm on. Get in the event stage, you losers.
Make sure to call them that.
Yeah, specifically losers. For maximum self-esteem and confidence
Well-
before the tournament games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 50%. You'll be right 50% of the time if you call them losers, statistically.
Kind of fucked up.
Okay, just typing out. Just go straight. Then at LIMOS, do the same. Just gonna want to give them a bit more time to talk to each other as teams before moving them up. Is the main thing because it is
Fair.
the finale.
This
so I
is
want
this is
them
the
to have
finale. Yeah.
Last moment discussions. And then, yeah, we're looking good.
Yippee.
Ooh,
Yippee.
this is thanks. Then let me edit one or two more things.
This is great stream content.
Do you want me to like clap like a seal for you as well? Jesus Christ.
Okay, can you give us an ARF, Vastal? Give us an ARF. No, no.
No. Oh. Sad.
Sadness.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm not about that
Escape.
life. I'm not a furry.
Escape. What's your favorite part of the tournament then so far?
Well, I'd have to say maybe a little bit biased, but that all CL match that we had last weekend was pretty great. And then we
No,
proceeded.
that's also my favorite part of the tournament. So. Keep it on.
Sorry, we just had a clown on 1-800 for a bit there, and then we got back to our regularly scheduled losing.
CL, you know, tough CL is,
Yeah.
I think, what the most important thing you had to show.
Yeah,
games.
CLs are inherently underpowered. Everyone knows this. Balcon told me so. And Balcon's never
Balcon
wrong
told
about
me so.
Yeah, Balcon's never wrong about anything.
And
Already, I'm
telling
going to
you-
be going live, so. What was
For-
that noise that you made?
already. Can go live
Okay.
now.
Yeah. Actually, should I up my audio codec even more? Like a greedy bastard?
I would not
Could do
mess with your
that.
settings, considering you just fixed them.
Nah, let's fuck them up even more. Let's
No,
go.
I
no,
think it would be
no.
really funny if Vestal crashed out in the middle of the third game in
Oh,
a
no.
1-1 tie.
There is a possibility, the slight possibility that my family could murder the internet at any moment because they just do that sometimes,
Oh, that's
which will
neat.
suck. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
There's also a small
Yikes.
possibility that my Ethernet cable could just spontaneously become unplugged from my router.
Skill issue.
Honestly, yeah.
But while people are playing, I just juggle small magnets over my router.
Ooh.
And, you know, if I drop one, it's over. But it makes for an exciting match, at least for me.
Very, very, very tense. You have to build the stakes.
Yeah.
Who's going to win? Will we get to see it? You know.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
Alright, going live in 3, 2, 1. Wow, would you look at that? Silence, I love that.
time on Dragon Ball Z.
sorry, I didn't know if you wanted to
Muted.
do an intro or not. Anyway,
Oh, no.
hello everyone in Vastal's chat. Buff CL.
Off CL.
That's never going to get old.
No, it's not.
I see the words buff CL. My eyes roll back in their sockets. You know, my brain goes blank. I see only two words: buff CL.
Sleeper agent activated.
We will now be going to the event stage.
Yippee.
And yes, we'll wait for the players in the last 2 minutes and get the team leaders up there. Oh boy. Get Darg up here. Get Scapegoat up here. And let's get Rom up here. Oh, I invited
What?
Nick. That's the wrong person. No, Nick is asking to speak, actually.
Oh,
You didn't even invite me. You just like dragged me up here. How did you do
surprise caster.
I just had moved to stage, I think, for you because you had perms.
Oh, I see.
that?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just less then.
You are quite less than, actually, yeah.
I see.
That's okay. I can
Guys.
still move Vestal to audience.
Oh.
Rom, could you please stream your POV to the event stage? Hopefully, I can turn off your stream while I'm up here so that I don't get even more of my.
You can just mute the stream. That should work.
can-
I
mute,
was
but-
not able to turn off the stream while I was on the event stage. I've never been able to figure out how to do that.
Well, yeah, you can just mute it. Like, problem solved.
No, because you
your bandwidth
use
is still
up
being consumed.
using a bandwidth
Ah,
on
I
it, which
see.
is regrettable.
Vestal's got British internet, so it's not that good.
I'm
I
not
see.
British. You're British.
Oh, Dark is live. I just got a notification. Look at that.
Wow, that's crazy.
I wonder what Dark's streaming today.
Oh,
I did not choose the message
follow
of the
me.
day. I did not choose the message of the day. Blame Dargaribdus for that.
What?
The kids, they don't know how to feel about these sorts of things, you know? You're scaring them.
Feel about what?
You're scaring them, you know? You're that creepy uncle.
Oh,
But,
I
you know,
see.
not that creepy. Sorry, please don't cry.
Wow. Are we gonna get on with this, or are we just gonna bully me all day?
No, there's 2 more minutes. Just waiting for some people to join in.
God damn it.
Okay. Welcome to the players. I'll get the team leaders up here. So that's Xenophon of Athens and Duke of Stars. Welcome to the both of you. I hope you have a good game and don't have chaotic comms while you're playing. How are you two
Well,
feeling?
I'm not worried about our comms, but I am worried about what their comms are going to be like. Like, I don't want to hear that.
I think their comms are going to be excellent. You know,
I've already
a
had
showing
a
of camaraderie.
I've already had a sneak peek at what internal comms in 1-800 sound like.
Oh, I'm being told my audio is absolutely crushed again. Are you serious?
Oh no.
I got closer to the microphone. How is it on the Twitch now? Oh no, not in Discord, on a Twitch stream. I just fixed it.
Hey, my chat, how's my audio and video? It's all good, right? No problems? I don't want to end up like Vastal.
Thanks.
We also have someone answering that question by posting in my chat.
Okay.
Thank you, Turbo.
Okay, I'm not going to delay anything. All the players are here. They are in the server. I'll start with my little thingy. Hello everyone, and welcome to the finale of All Hands on Deck. My name is Vastal, and I've been your tournament host for the past 6 weeks. It's been my sincerest pleasure to host this tournament for you all, and I'm very happy to present to you our finalists. From LIMOS, we have Hunter, Xenophon of Athens, Herman, and WZ Snipes. On 1-800 Got Hellbombed, we have Duke of Stars, Black Bat, 80, Flynn, and Scrubbus. We'll be saving most of the pomp for later, but just before we start, a word from the team leaders and casters. Xenophon, how are you feeling before you go into this? Just a quick mood check.
Pretty good. You know, I'm looking forward to the matches. I'm sure they'll be very fun. And yeah, we'll see how they go.
Very good. Duke of Stars, how are you feeling?
GG. Easy.
Okay, that's going down on the toxicity bracket and rule numbers, whatever, noted for future reference. Darg, you excited?
Extremely.
Okay.
Yeah, give us the soul of... Okay, fuck, go. You
Fuck you! You're gone, you're done.
Which is it? You told us you wanted us to speak for a little. One word. Bye.
On the scapegoat.
Well, I also don't have a speech prepared, but yeah, very excited. It's been a really incredible tournament so far, and I'm really excited to see what these two teams bring to the final.
Yeah, on the ROM.
Yeah, you know, it's a great tournament. I have the pleasure of playing against Hellbomb, not Limos. I wish them the best of luck.
Mm.
Okay, what is happening in the game chat? Oh no.
Okay, and now we're going to be heading on to choosing our maps and deciding the teams. Please do not vote kick each other. I will cry.
Yeah,
we'll
just
have to,
heads
like-
up, if someone does get vote kicked, we have to start a
We
match.
have to restart the server,
in
yeah.
the match and restart the server.
Yes, so do
So
not
please
do that.
stop fucking around with that, because we've had this sort of thing happen before, and it wasted a shitload of time.
Here's a
seen
good
amount
threat.
of time
If
with
you
that.
vote kick someone, you lose DLO. There's a good threat.
Oh, my stream died. Oh Jesus.
Uh-oh.
Okay, the Twitch stream is back up. Apologies, everyone. I don't know when it died. It just conked out at some stage. There we go. Onto the maps and teams. One very important question to LIMOS: heads or tails?
Heads.
It is tails. 1-800 got hellbombed. Do you want to play ANS or OSP first?
Discuss with the team. Okay, ANS. We'll take ANS first.
You will take ANS first? Okay. Good luck. Now, I'm going to draw your 3 maps that you're going to be playing today. The first map you will be playing is Tumbleweed. The second map in the rotation will be Yukon. And the third map will be Gold Rush. Those are the 3 maps you'll be playing, as long as you don't draw one. So, 1-800 got hellbombed. Of those 3 maps, what do you not want to play first?
Tumbleweed.
Okay, Tumbleweed will not be first. Limos. Of the maps Yukon and Gold Rush, what do you not want to play first?
We don't want to play. Sorry, it was Yukon and Gold Rush, right?
Yukon and Gold Rush, yes.
Okay, we don't want to play Yukon first.
Okay, very good. So that means your first map will be Gold Rush, yeah? And then second map will be Tumbleweed, and the third map will be Yukon. So let's get the server onto Tumbleweed. I mean, Gold Rush. I'm having an aneurysm. Change map. Gold Rush. Thank you very much, Skipgoat. And get onto your teams, please, everyone.
Last time I checked, Black Bat is not part of Team Limos.
That is correct.
Unless some crazy thing happened when I wasn't looking.
It appears my Twitch stream is a little messed up, so if it isn't working, I'm just going to stream on the event stage. If Twitch isn't going to be friendly to me today, that's a shame. As for the
I'm also
players...
having some connection problems.
Oh, you're also having issues?
Do
Okay.
you keep reconnecting and connecting back to your chat room? Is that the issue you're having?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm having on my end as well.
Great. Well,
That sounds
I
like a Twitch thing, though. If we're both having it.
reconfigured my network, and now I'm not having that issue anymore. But now I can't get through the server.
Interesting. All right.
Oh, Twitch stream is fine. Okay, never mind.
All right. Anyone in my chat, just let me know if the stream starts getting wonky, and I'll see if I can fix it. Hopefully, it doesn't happen mid-match.
We are set. Can we please get the players to head back to their team chats in the Discord? Good luck to all of you.
And I think
I had this fixed last time.
That's probably my cue to head to Caster Box, huh?
Yes, and Darg, you will also head to your own little hidey hole, wherever that may be.
Alright, well, reconvene here after.
Yes, after it's all over and done.
All right.
Ta-ta.
I'll see you then. Alrighty. In the Caster Box. We are just waiting for the teams to pick their fleets ready up, get all situated. Hopefully it won't take too long, but you never know with these teams. Flynn will can't Flannel unready right as we're about to hit the force deploy time and take us back to 1 minute. Always happens. Yeah, the finals here, guys. This is it. Very excited to see what these two teams bring to the table for this finale. And we haven't seen a tie yet in this tournament, which ties are rare, but they've happened in previous tournaments. It'd be very funny if we had won this game. I think it would actually give Vastal an aneurysm if we had a tie and we had to go to a 4th game. Why not best of 5? Best of 7? I would rather not be here for 10 hours. Casting that long, I think I would actually lose my voice. 24-hour marathon? Please no. I'm not ready for that. Ah, Darg's back. Curious, yeah, we've all been apparently having some problems with Twitch. Probably on Twitch's end, given that we're both having the same problem. It keeps disconnecting me and reconnecting me to the chat, which seems like a bad thing, but my bitrate's still steady, my streaming is still steady, so I'm assuming it's probably okay. I don't really know why that's happening. But hopefully it doesn't disconnect midway through. If it does, if we do disconnect, the event stage will likely be open. Rom and Vastal will be there. So if something bad does happen, just head there. You'll get to see the conclusion of the match while I try and fix things on my end. But fingers crossed that we don't have that issue, because that would be really awkward, considering that this is supposed to be the grand finale of this tournament. It's 3 people in Fleet Editor. Not what we're supposed to be looking at. Nifon, Snipes. Oh, now Duke's in Fleet Editor too. Oh my god. Oh, I type, yeah, my stream is stable, and then it immediately disconnects me from the chat room and reconnects me. Great. That's a great sign. I did. There's been no glitches in the stream so far. Okay, that's good to hear. Sorry that I don't know why that got mod. I think I'm sorry, Flippy. I think that auto mod that was like a slur or something. Okay. Yep, so Vastal and Rom are going to be on event stage. If something catastrophic happens to my stream, head there, and you'll get to see the tournament. There's also Darg too if you want to watch their stream, which, sure, I guess. All right, Team Limos is all readied up, good to go. Team 1-800 is still having issues trying to figure out what fleets they want to bring. I'm seeing three fleets on 1-800 that have the same amount of characters in them. We will see what what that entails when we load in. These are two very skilled teams going at each other in the tournament finale here. I hope both teams bring meme comps. That would be peak, actually. That would be incredible. Yeah, CL, I hope. Can we have all CL again? All right. We are starting. Countdown has begun. All right, guys. Finale time. This is it. This is for all the marbles. Hello, all, and welcome to round 1 of the grand finale for the All Hands on Deck tournament here. It has been an incredible tournament, but only one team is going to win here. We will see which one it is. Team 1 is 1-800 Hellbombed. They have been... Both teams have been playing really well, actually. I shouldn't just say that one team's been doing good. Anyway, 1-800 Hellbombed. We have Flynn, Duke of Stars, Blackbat, and Scrubbus facing off against Team 2, Snipes, Xenophon, Herman, and Hunter. We are here on Gold Rush for the first round here as both teams begin to ready up. It would appear that 1-800 is not putting any names on their ships. Oh, look at this. 1-800 is using deception warfare here, not putting any names on their ships to impede the ability of LIMOS from identifying which ships they're firing at. Let's take a look at where the teams are deploying. Looks like both teams are deploying pretty heavy seaside, which is pretty common here on Gold Rush. There's a lot of cover at sea, and it's typically the safer route to go for both teams. Although OSP does like to push E a lot on this map. Curious that they're not really doing it here. Lots of tracks deploying C. Only one ship on E side, probably a capper asset going to grab the point. Whereas 1-800 doesn't look like it has any capper assets unless this capper asset going B is going to redeploy to E later. Very interesting deploy here. ANS very spread out on their deployment here. It looks like they're doing a couple ships low. I'm guessing those are CLs. Potentially, we will see. This is a battleship. Who's brought the battleship on Team 1-800? That one, we don't really see a whole lot of battleships in this tournament. We will see who brought that. All right, let's go over the teams really quickly here. Blackbat. CL's low. I successfully guessed it. We have 2 gun CLs with S3H backpacks. Raider Whiplash, pretty standard stuff here. And 1 Jam Escort. And is this a capper? Looks like it. Looks like an empty capper, potentially going to the Sea Point or somewhere else. Duke is bringing the double CL half-cap fleet that obliterated us on Colon 3 last weekend here. Various empty cappers as well. Most of these cappers are pretty empty due to the point cost of the CLs, but still, fast assets are very nice to have regardless of whether they can fight or not. If Duke keeps those CLs close to those assets, those cap assets, they can do a lot of work in destroying OSP light stuff. Lynn is bringing missile corvettes. Oops, all missile corvettes. Whoa, what are we having here? Lots of S2Hs in these. This is a very curious fleet. Only 5 corvettes going low, full missile load. We will see what happens with that fleet. And Scrubbus is running the battleship. Parallax radar, pretty standard stuff. Whiplash Raider, Dragonfly Raider, yep, pretty standard battleship build. A floodlight on the bottom for anti-jam and self-illum. Disco ball on the side. Yep, this is a fairly standard thing. What's in the VLS2? 57 SDMs! Oh, this is, yeah, this is a very heavy SDM loadout for a battleship. Very, very interesting. The escort is Sarissa and Flak, so yeah, Scrubbus not risking it at all when it comes to craft. Alright, take a look at the board right here. Neither team really moving a whole lot in the time it took me to go over 1-800's team. We have, I'm assuming this is a meat tug. Yep, the meat tug heading E. Nothing to contest it by the looks of it. B and D secured by their respective teams. CLs are moving to C point, likely to hunt down any light assets that try and cap it first, although no shuttles on OSP going for the point. These tugboats are going to take a while to get there. Let's take a look at limos really quickly here. It would appear that Herman is running a double Acello fleet here. Auroras, I'm assuming Raider. Yeah, this is pretty standard Acello builds. Flying in formation with Xenophon's monitor ball here. Very nice to see. Those Acellos will be providing excellent defense for the monitors. Hunter with the rail cello here up in the top corner of the map overlooking C and A. Looks like they're the one bringing the cap fleet. Very, very interesting half cap fleet here. We have a rail CL and a very cheap gunliner here, 250s and 100. Very nice to see here. This thing was going to be very deadly against small assets. And then a lot of meat tugs. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 meat tugs. And I'm assuming a couple gun shuttles as well. Yep, that's what these are. Very nice to see. Snipes is running the carrier. What do we have in here? It's all Barracudas, because why would it be anything different? Interesting to note here is that ANS is not running any carrier assets. I don't even think they have anything that can carry craft. Yeah. Lots of CLs, lots of fast assets. The only really large thing they have is the battleship, which is deploying high over A. Parallax in there, it's going to be very useful looking over this big open gap here, putting down suppress and fire against anything that it sees. Duke sending 2 of its empty cappers to A point here. Doesn't look like... Oh, no, the monitors have engaged. Wasp Squadron with rockets here is also engaging the cappers. Will the monitors and craft destroy these ships fast enough? Looks like Wasp Squadron is attacking the one that is not being fired at. Bunch of rockets into their thing. Takes out its CIC. Hawk steering, keeping it alive. There it goes. 1 down. Wasp puts more rockets into the ship that's already dead, although it immediately swaps fire, and ACAP is denied by both Wasp Flight and all of these monitors here. And Hunter sends a cap ship onto the A point. Hunter's liner already shows orange for ammo because it has a craft on it. It's likely loaded with flechette, yeah. So 35 flechette into, I believe it was a halberd, yeah. It has a halberd that runs flechette, and the only ammo it brings is for 1 loadout of this thing, so that's why it's already showing orange for ammo. 2 cappers already dead on A, which is quite the loss for 1-800 here. The battleship trying to duel with the monitors gets bombshelled. Those bombshells will not do any damage to this thing. Although Scrubbus electing to pull back here. Although the bombshells will be doing damage to this frigate here. I do believe it's going to get into cover ahead of time before it takes too much damage, but... Yeah, the monitor's pushing up to this rock up here, already within plasma range of Scrubbus's battleship. What is that range bracket? We are at approximately 8-ish kilometers away from the battleship. That's pretty close. 100 mil now going into this defense frigate here. Takes quite a lot of damage. No restores on this thing. If this thing starts losing compartments, it's not going to be functional. That's grape shot. Strives are down. Stonewall down. That is rough. That's a rough loss for Scrubbus losing such an expensive defensive asset that quickly. E point going securing by this meat tug here. It's going to get the E point. There's nothing there to stop it. C point is also going into the hands of Limos here. The CLs are not really in a position to deny that. Hunter's liner in the perfect position to put down fire against these voxels here and prevent them from pushing closer to the cap point to deny it. The voxels electing to trade fire with the liner. I believe this ship is undetected. Yeah, it's using a little bit of terrain here to remain undetected. A point being secured by Limos here. The voxels doing their best to deny it, but not enough. They will kill the capper, but the cap has already been taken by OSP. E point secured. C point will be secured momentarily here. This ship is not going to die fast enough to for the cap to be denied. And yeah, that is a 4 cap off the bat for Limos. Very impressive. Hunter bagging his liner off the C point, realizing that there's no need to keep this thing in the line of fire of the voxels now that the C point is secured. Voxels underneath the map don't really have a lot to fire at here. Still trying to take out this capper, but not a whole lot else is in range. What is the range to the monitors? The voxels are at 10 kilometers away from the monitors, so 2 kilometers out of range. SDMs from Flynn's little missile fleet going into Bastion's in Bolt Squadron here. Bastion is, I believe, yep, 35 Flechette, Combat Air Patrol. Bolt Squadron is also the same. Bolt Squadron looks like it was detached for some reason. Flynn's missile ships are within the territory of OSP here, as... Are they detected? No, they're not detected, but it looks like the monitors are moving around the corner here, potentially to engage the spot where all of those SDMs came from. I believe that LIMOS probably knows that there is something under the map here because of all the SDMs that went into Bastion Squadron. I do not know if they know what it is yet. The monitors also could be just pushing up to this point here to try and to engage Duke's voxels here. The voxels are being spotted. Well, were being spotted. Nope, are being spotted by potentially... I'm assuming one of these meat tugs is spotting them. It could also be the liner as well. Or it could be this fleet up here. Yeah, the monitors and Acellos engaging the voxels. The range bracket is still pretty high here. Duke has good drive setup on these things. Should be able to orbit dodge pretty effectively here. Yeah, most of those shells miss. There is no target lock on these voxels. Those shells are not going to hit. E-Point being approached by 2 empty cap ships here under the command of Duke. These ships are empty. They have no... No, this thing has offensive S1s on it, but I believe this thing has a Pavis. Yeah. Duke not having the weapons that he needs on these cappers to deal with this meat tug that's just holding the E-Point. Although, that being said, Black Bat's voxels are moving over to the E-Point here, recognizing that they need to get on caps before the 4-cap adds up. Flynn's corvettes are rising up potentially onto the D-Point here. There's not a whole lot there to stop them. The monitors could turn back around to defend it, but it will take time for them to turn around. The carrier is in the area and could potentially launch strikes. If these... No, the corvettes are kind of going over in this direction. Team LIMOS having their carrier in a really, really good spot compared to where ANS's assets are. Whistler Squadron. We have Combat Air Patrol moving up onto the battleship. Curious. Battleship trading long-range fire with the Acellos here. Is getting some good damage into them, but they are now bow on and will not be taking a whole lot of damage now that they are properly angled. First of the SDMs from the battleship go into Whistler Squadron here. Whistler maybe potentially trying to bait out the SDMs from the battleship. If only they knew that this battleship has literally infinite SDMs for some reason. Black Bat's voxels are moving onto the E-Point here. Nothing here is going to stop them from capping it. Rocket Squadron is heavily damaged here. Does still have R1 rockets, but R1 rockets are not going to be really doing a whole lot of damage against voxels. Although SDMs from the battleship do help Black Bat out. Good team play from 1-800 here, using their assets to help each other. Whistler Squadron is reduced to 6 craft, down to 5, 4. Rails out on the battleship. Scrub is trying to get into cover from the rail cello here. Whistler doing its best to shoot down the SDMs before they hit, although they are now within point defense range of the battleship. They need to back off right now or they're going to lose the rest of their number. E-Point being secured by Black Bat's voxels. There is nothing that LIMOS has there to deny that, although this meat tug is hiding under the rock here. If the voxels move on out of range of this meat tug, it could recap the point. C-Point is firmly in the hands of LIMOS here. Duke's voxels have backed off pretty significantly here, trying to open the range, I believe, from the monitors and Acellos. They do not want to be fighting those ships right now. Flynn is just going up. Probably hunting the carrier would be my guess, although the carrier is on the other side of the map. Dagger Squadron sortied with rockets here. Hunting down, I believe, yeah, hunting down Flynn here. Flynn does have SDMs on these things. Yeah, quite a few. Could be able to defend against that strike. Black Bat does have a capper here hiding by the A point. If those monitors move away from the A point, Black Bat can potentially get the point here, although these monitors are in a very good position, overlooking both A point and able to overlook C point if needed. The Voxels still moving low. Duke potentially trying to push them around and underneath the C point on the other side, maybe trying to get a jump on the liner. The liner does still have its guns pointed to where the Voxels used to be, although these Voxels were spotted on burn through. If Hunter is paying attention, he can pivot this liner to face these Voxels. 450 fire coming out from the Acellos here against the Voxels, firing on a burn-through track, trying to get through the jamming. We have Illuminators out from the Acellos, trying to help spot these Voxels, but these Voxels are putting out a lot of jamming, staying very hidden. Dagger Squadron taking more SDMs. It would appear that Bastion Squadron also took SDMs from Flynn at some point, reducing their number from 12 to 7. No, that wasn't the correct flight. Where was the rocket flight? Was it... No, not Reflex. This is, Combat Air Patrol. Was this the squadron? This was the squadron of 12. It's reduced to 2. Wow, very effective SDM use from Flynn here. Just absolutely annihilating that entire squadron. Scrubs' battleship continuing to just hide behind the rock here, unable to push into that massive ball of frontline that OSB has. More SDMs out from Flynn, firing into Bastion Squadron here. Bastion Squadron is Combat Air Patrol, does not have strike capabilities, but Flynn does not know that. Manages to take out one. Whistler Squadron still just patrolling the area over here. They took heavy losses from the battleship's SDMs, but are still just out sorted here, potentially trying to spot things for the enemy. What is this? How did I not notice this? Hunter has a bat capper at B. How did they get this here? What? Okay. Well, there's nothing to stop this shuttle from just taking the B point. The Voxels have moved up into the OSP territory. There's nothing back here to defend B. The battleship is in the area, but 450 is not going to be able to kill this thing fast enough before it takes the point. Flynn's little cluster here is spotted, putting out jamming in the direction they're being spotted. However, the Illuminators out from the Acellos here, burning through that jamming. The monitors are turning to pivot. If these things start getting bombshells out on Flynn, Flynn is kind of screwed here. HE Frag S2H immediately stages on presumably this halberd back here. And I'm not sure why that staged so quickly. Is it comms jamming? Is there comms jamming being directed from the Acellos? No, I think that's just the green from the Illuminators. Duke backing off from where they were, deciding to take out this meat shuttle back here. They spot it, potentially, yeah, they spot it going for the B point. They assume that it was the back cap, but they have no idea that this shuttle is here. Duke is rising up, potentially to try and contest the C point here. 1-800 has to know that they have to try to get caps before the points add up. Flynn does manage to go dark here. They split their jamming between the halberd and the monitors here, able to jam them out enough to go dark. Illuminators do go back out, but now Black Bat is engaging with the Voxels here. Unfortunately, this for them, this Acello is still bow on relative to them. It's going to be deflecting that 250 quite effectively here. 8 point being secured by 1-800 here. Recognizing that the monitors have turned around to deal with Flynn, they are not in a position to deny here, although Reflex Squadron, R1 rockets and KBU bombs diving on the capper here. This thing has no defenses, fires out a bunch of AMMs. That's a lot of rockets, though. I don't think this thing is going to survive. Nope, immediately destroyed. A good attempt from 1-800 to get the cap here, recognizing that the monitors were no longer denying the point. Reflex Squadron, however, is going to just get SDM down by the battleship. They do manage to kill the capper, but take heavy losses in return. How many craft is Snipes left to? Not a lot. They do still have a lot of big squadrons out in the area, but Snipes has been pretty bled on craft. ANS needs to take advantage of this. The battleship kind of hanging out by the A point, perhaps debating whether it wants to push into the point or not. The monitors have fully pivoted to engage the voxels and Flynn. C point being secured by Duke. Gets their voxels onto the point here. And Hunter's liner has withdrawn from the C point to try and help with the A fight. C point is open for the voxels to just take here. Hunter still does have meat tugs in the area. But right as C point starts to get captured, Hunter's backcapper takes the B point. There is nothing to stop this thing from taking the B point, as LIMOS is going to maintain their 3-cap here. The monitors backing up from the engagement with the voxels here. The voxels using their superior speed to just duck behind cover here. Potentially maybe trying to put pressure on the A point. Now, Duke still does have this capper down here. However, I believe Rocket Squadron is probably strike. Yep, Rocket Squadron is strike as full R1 and KBU bomb loadout here. Potentially going for the voxels here. These voxels are busy. Using RPF, destroys the squadron back there, protects Flynn. Flynn hasn't really been able to do much with the missiles yet. Has been pretty zoned out by the monitors and craft so far. Rocket Squadron is detected now. The voxels are starting to put RPF down range. I believe that was from the voxels. Something RPF related hit these things. Nope, the voxels pivoting to Whistler Squadron here. Whistler Squadron's been up in the air for quite a while now. Duke is committing the capper onto A. Where is Rocket? Rocket is looping around. No, but it's turning around. Is the capper spotted? No, it's not. Rocket Squadron is still close enough to probably strike that capper before it takes the point, although I think that Duke realizes that they need to make a play for the caps immediately, or they're going to be way behind on points late game here. One of these cellos starting to get oranged out by the suppressing fire from the battleship. Hunter's liner jumping in front of the line of fire, trying to head to the D point here to defend against Flynn, I believe. Very silly there. We had a get down Mr. President moment as Hunter was completely unfazed by the incoming 450 fire. Although the capper is now on the A point, but the monitors are here. The monitors pivoting around, already got their 100 mil on arc. Rocket Squadron does go in for a strike, veers off last second, realizing that the monitors have it covered. Meanwhile, over here, Flynn is able to deny the E point, taking down this this meat tug that was hiding under the map here, waiting for a back cap. E point is secured by 1-800 at this point. However, they are still behind on points. Although this capper is still alive. Not by much, but it's still functional. It is locked. It is being fired at. Will it survive long enough? It does! It gets the A point! The monitor's not enough to deal with the capper in time as the 3-cap goes to Team 1-800 here. Although they are still very behind on points. They need to make a play for a 4-cap and quick here, or the points will start adding up in OSP's favor. The monitor's now engaging the battleship proper here, putting Hesh down range. The Hesh is wreaking havoc on this battleship's turret systems, knocking out the main gun, some ammo elevators, and the VLS-2 on the back. The railguns are also devastating for this battleship, causing a massive amounts of fires. Those are 8 fires. Lots of debuffs on this thing. This battleship needs to get into cover quickly and start enacting repairs, or it's just going to get whittled down by the suppressing fire. The voxels are firing RPF at Hunter's liner here. Is this thing Sundrive? Yep. This thing is moving so fast that I believe that Black Bat thinks that this is a light asset. Although it is not a light asset. 250 and 100 mil starts going out into these broadside voxels here. That not going to do a whole lot of damage immediately, but if these voxels don't start putting fire back, that is going to start adding up. SDMs from the voxels go into Rocket Squadron, which is rushing down the battleship with R1s and KBUs. The battleship's VLS launcher is disabled. It doesn't have its SDMs to defend itself. Although, that being said, it doesn't have any left. Okay, never mind. Rocket Squadron is reduced to only 7 craft here by the RPF fire. Rockets do go out. Will there be a bomb follow-up, or will Rocket withdraw to save their numbers? The bombs are still not authorized. These things are hanging out within defender range. One gets shot down. These things are very low on fuel. Yep, they are returning to base. The battleship is safe from being hellbombed, but it is still taking heavy damage from the monitors and rail SLO. Meanwhile, Hunter's liner getting pretty good damage into the broadside of Blackbat's Voxel here. Still firing RPF into the squadrons, recognizing that it needs to save its ally here, although this liner is going to duck behind cover here. Flynn could be in a position to start putting missiles into it. What's this thing's point defense looking like? Absolutely no point defense. A VLS-1 with some chaff is not going to cut it against missiles like what Flynn has. Meanwhile, Duke's Voxels has just been kind of cleaning up the light assets back here, trying to make sure that CE point doesn't get back capped. This one is going to go down here. Elcringe Hunter has only one functional meat tug, which is going for the A point. Oh no, 1-800 has nothing to keep the A point in their hands here. Blackbat's Voxels have moved back. These things need to be closer to the A point to make sure it doesn't flip. Yeah, this thing is going to be uncontested if it gets there in time. The Voxels do have reverse thrust going, could potentially start be moving over to the A point to deny it, although this tug is not detected. Duke keeping a capper next to the B point, waiting for it to be back capped. They do not know what capped the point, but look at this, Ruby Squadron! Ruby Squadron has KBU bombs. Yeah, the bombs start going out. The battleship is severely injured. Those KBU bombs are going to be enough to cripple this battleship. No restores left. This battleship is mission killed. Strubus is effectively out of the game here. Flynn, noticing the liner, sends a bunch of S2Hs at it, trying to keep this thing off the E point here. Hunter has no defenses against these missiles. These are S2s. Those are going to do some damage, not a whole lot. This thing is pretty cheaply built, although it has a lot of mass to tank the damage with. A point being secured by Limos here. This ship does get bloomed on, although it is still alive. Magazine is redded, so it is not combat effective right now, although there is nothing in the area to really destroy it in time. The Voxels trying to keep the monitors at bay while Duke has split up the Voxels here. One going for D, and looks like the other one going for B here. Trying to get the caps back into their hands here, although D is very heavily defended by OSP at this point. A is likely going to get flipped here. These Voxels are not anywhere close enough to destroy that thing, and even if they were, this thing is behind cover. It is pretty durable. It will survive long enough to take the A point, as that, Limos gets back to their 3 cap with a pretty massive points advantage. They are looking very good to win this one if they can just hold it here. Snipes starting to run low on craft here. Looks like they only have, that would be 13 plus 4. So yeah, only 17 craft remaining. And the craft are dropping rapidly as Ruby Squadron, unable to go to high burn due to fuel exhaustion, is just going to get picked off by the RPF here. Although at this point, I do believe that Snipes has done their job in just denying caps for Team 1-800 here. B point is being resecured by 1-800. They're going to get the 3 cap back, although the points lead that Limos has is very substantial at this point. They need the 4 cap immediately, or they are going to lose here pretty quickly. And even with the 4 cap, it's still going to be close. Limos has done a really good job conserving their frontline assets for this entire match. The monitors and the Acellos still very healthy, still very combat effective. Scrubus is out of the match here, is going to detonate too by the looks of it. Yep. That could be a fuel line fire. Yep, no, that's a detonation. To 1-800's credit, though, they have managed to keep their Voxels pretty healthy for this match, despite the massive front line that they're up against. Blackbat is going for A to resecure the point from this meat tug here. It is spotted. It will start being fired upon any moment here. Although, not really a whole lot of fast assets. Well, I guess you could count the Voxels as fast assets, considering their drive setup. Flynn is moving off the E point here. Flynn needs to stick next to this point here to keep this thing from capping it. One of Duke's voxels starts getting railed by the rail cello. It does go dark here. The rail cello stops detecting it. This thing is locked. What are you locked by? Is that within 8 kilometers? 9 kilometers? Yeah, it is. All right, it's being locked by this this voxel here. The voxel managing to stay dark. This thing doesn't have a radar, I don't think. No, it doesn't. It had no radar to maximize the fire rate of its railguns. Duke might be able to kill the rail cello here if they stay with a firing arc relative to it at least. Black Bat moving their voxels onto the A point here, managing to finish off this meat tug here so they can secure it. The Acellos are pushing in to overlook it, recognizing that this capper is going to die and that there is a play for the A point here being taken under by 1-800. The monitors as well are moving back over. Lots of firepower going to go into these voxels here. If they're not careful, they're just going to get annihilated while trying to take the cap. Looks like Xenophon has split off one of the monitors to defend D point here. A very effective strategy considering how little ANS has left. E point being secured by Hunter. Their liner moves onto the point. It is structure broken, has taken missiles from Flynn, although does Flynn still have enough missiles to deal with that? They are firing a mixed salvo on this liner, although the liner is moving rather quickly behind cover. Some of these missiles are going to rock PD more than likely. Yeah, unfortunate. Direct missiles are going to rock PD. These are HEKP, though, into a structure-broken liner here. Not a whole lot of damage. This thing is still functional. What's keeping this thing alive? It has DC, the complex. Yeah, the complex still is at 44% health. Rifun Squadron trying to help the liner, putting rockets into Flynn here, although only a couple, not a whole lot. R1s don't do a whole lot of damage on their own, although they do manage to kill this thing. They kill the damage control team. The damage control team probably already injured by Flynn being on permaflank. That is a very healthy ship to lose to a damage control death. That is rough. E does go into the hands of LIMOS here as the liner secures it. A point, though, being secured by Black Bat, although these voxels are going to suffer for it. Duke coming up from under the map, trying to help their friend out against the Acellos here. But this amount of meat diving onto the point is not... Yeah, you need a bit more than 3 voxels to deal with this much force. These things did have S3s in the back, although they're curiously haven't been used. Looks like, yeah, these missiles are not being used. Very unfortunate for Black Bat. They are starting to hurt this Acello here, but there is still a second Acello as well as 3 monitors diving on A. E point, Flynn manages to clean up the liner on E, will secure the point here. D point trying to be back-capped by Duke, but this monitor here denying it. A very excellent play from Xenophon putting this thing on the D point to secure it, recognizing that all they need to do is hold it. And the shuttle that capped the B point, back-capping the C point as well. This shuttle has been definitely worth its price as it has back-capped 2 points from 1-800, forced several ships to redeploy to the backline to recap the points. Very excellent play from Hunter here. Nothing to deny that point cap, as this voxel is still busy dealing with the rail cello back here. One of the monitors also being tasked to hunt down this voxel here in conjunction with the rail cello. This thing does have a radar on it. Yes, it does have a radar on it, so it will be able to spot for the rail cello. The voxels on A completely cored. These things are not going to be back in the fight. Although they are still contesting the point here by still technically being combat effective. Duke down here, 1 voxel is not going to be enough to dislodge this many ships from the A point here. 1 healthy Acello, 3 healthy monitors, and 1 still pretty okay Acello here holding down the A point here. Flynn burning inward towards the A point, trying to help out the battle for A, although losing another ship in the process. Yeah, another ship with missiles still left. That's rough. And more missiles out on another one. This one drives down. Doesn't take a whole lot of damage, though. The thing is able to be repaired, although only 2 functional ships at the moment left from Flynn. D point being held by the monitor pretty well. This was the escort for Blackbat's monitors. It carries only, I believe, SDMs and active decoys. Will not be enough. But look at that! The monitors and the Accelas are bloomed on A. Multiple ships here having their armor stripped. Does ANS have enough to capitalize on that? I don't know if they do. Their fleet's been pretty heavily damaged here, losing Blackbat and Scrubbus completely. Flynn is nearly completely out of assets. Duke still does have voxels, but they're not in any good position to really deal with things. I don't think that ANS is going to be able to pull this back. OSP is at 900, gonna get a 3-cap back here by capturing... What are they capturing? They're retaking A. The voxels finally combat ineffective. Stepping off the point as well. This one is no longer on the point. A will be secured by Limos here. Flynn trying desperately, heading towards the D point here to try and recap it, although Claw Squadron, as R1 strikes out on these ships here, damages one of them, holds their rockets. Are they going to split fire? Yep, rockets into the other one. Structure breaking that one, damaging the other one. Both of these are... One of them is still alive, although one of them is now dead. This still alive one is no longer combat effective. And there goes the surrender from 1-800, recognizing that they do not have enough assets left to really contest this, as it is now 1-0 in favor of Limos, and we are moving on to the next match. I believe we're going to Tumbleweed. Very excellent play from OSP's frontline there, able to just hold down the middle of the map here. The voxels and Battleship unable to really push into them. CLs do quite a lot against the light assets, although OSP just had so much light assets to spare that they could just keep securing caps. Hunter was very, very skilled with this back capper asset here that was able to just secure multiple points behind ANS's back. And the Battleship, unfortunately, died before being able to do much, constantly being suppressed by the Rail Cello and monitors, and finally getting killed off by Kraft once its VLS went down and it ran out of SDMs. Flynn, unfortunately, not really able to do much with the missile fleet. Was able to deny a couple of points, destroy the liner, but not really able to do much beyond that. The voxels were unfortunately just never in a really good position to hold caps. They were forced to move around the map trying to deny things and were never just in a position to deny caps. And yeah, that was a very excellent performance from Limos here. Snipes did lose most of their craft, though. The RPF really hurts in concentrated firepower like that. But yeah, we are moving on. We are going to Tumbleweed as the teams switch sides. We are on Tumbleweed now as our second map. Hunter calling for a 1-second break. Was Hunter a midshipman again? Oh no, I wasn't even looking. No, I missed it. I missed the incredible screenshot I could have gotten. Yeah, without that battleship, ANS just really didn't have the firepower to deal with that death ball of monitors and Acellos. You got the screenshot? Thank you, Noak. Beautiful. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the teams bring to Tumbleweed here. Tumbleweed typically forces the teams to play in close range. There are not a whole lot of long sight lines on this map. You typically rely on plasma 100 mil, rockets, or beam ships. What's the current score, by the way? The last one was the first match. Limos won it, so it's now 1-0. This is the second round. So Limos currently has a match point here, and is on ANS, which means that they do have beams if they so choose. Although that's not counting out 1-800. 100 mil and close range plasma is very deadly. It is still best of 3 for this for the finale. The screenshot is in the gallery. Beautiful. Hang on. Perfect. Midshipman Hunter. This is what we want. This is what we came here to see. Curiously, what surprised me most about that last one is that no one on 1-800 went carrier. We've seen Black Bat do insanely well in carriers this tournament. Kind of shocked me that they didn't do it. They did have a good strategy, though, with the voxels low. Very deadly. The Battleship was a curious choice there. I don't really know. I've never really seen Scrubbus play a BB before like that, so it was kind of surprising to see. The 57 SDMs were quite a sight, though. That was a very, very interesting loadout for that Battleship's missile backpack. Kind of curious, because they definitely sacrificed something to get that many SDMs. I'm assuming damage control. I didn't really take that close of a look at the Battleship because I wanted not to miss anything, but I'm assuming that that Battleship may not have had the damage control that it was usually have. Why do some people appear as middies for a split second? I think it's the game loading their player profile for a second in lobbies. Sometimes it can take a second, and so they just appear as midshipmen by default. Yeah. The reason it died so bad to hell bombing was the AA frigate. Yeah, losing that anti-aircraft frigate that early to the monitors was disastrous for Scrubbus. That thing had no restores and a basic CIC. That thing was very fragile for how many points it costed, considering it had 2 Stonewalls and 2 Sarissas. This is why on my defensive escorts for battleships, I always run a little bit. That's how they afforded the 57 Naginantas. Probably, yeah, they probably took points away from the damage control in that frigate. But, yeah, that's why I always run pretty survivable escorts for my battleship, because a lot of the times keeping them alive is very useful. But yeah, no, not having the Flak and Sarissas was disastrous. Flak is a very strong tool against hell bombing, which I'm assuming that was what the frigate was supposed to be used for. Flynn, just now realizing the server motto is very neat. Well, OSP's frontline played a little passively. Well, they didn't really need to play aggressively, because Hunter was doing really well on the caps. They could just sit there and hold the caps while Hunter just backcapped everything. They didn't really need to push. That's the thing. Pushing can be very dangerous, because it removes you from very secure and really defensible positions, which is why typically cap advantage is very, very advantageous, because it forces the enemy to push. Oh, game can't... Scrubbus. Scrubbus. Oh, why am I calling him Scrubbus? Should pronounce it Scrubus. Apparently, Black Bat and Duke pronounce his name Scrubus, and it pisses him off. So, Scrubus it now is. Anyway, round 2 is beginning now. I'm kind of curious to see what these teams bring to Tumble. Because Tumble is a very strange map. It makes you play a lot differently than typically other maps. "12 liners of Doom." I really hope that's what it is. And 12 beam DDs. I kind of hope that's what it is, actually. Anyway. Hello all, and welcome to round 2 of the All Hands on Deck tourney final here. We saw in the previous match, LIMOS take the lead here. Now it's 1-0 in their favor. The teams have switched sides, switched teams, and we have moved on to Tumbleweed. Team 1 ANS now, we have LIMOS here, Snipes, Hunter, Herman, and Xenophon. Team 2 OSP is 1-800 Got Hellbombed, consisting of Black Bat, Scrubbus, Flynn, and Duke. Tumbleweed is a very interesting map to play on. It forces teams to play very different comps than you typically see on other maps. 450 and rails are not really as effective on this map, just due to there being no long-range sightlines to really make them work. Let's take a look at where the teams are deploying. It looks like 1-800's deploying mostly high throughout this top section of Tumbleweed here. A couple assets low. It would appear that Flynn has forgotten to rename their cap fleet. Yeah, this is Flynn's cap fleet. Flynn names their cap assets after other players, by the way, so I immediately know this is Flynn's fleet. Whoops. Anyway, looks like... Oh, whoa. Limos has a lot more assets than 1-800 does, which is typically not common for ANS. Lots of tracks here going in. It's like we're concentrated in like a diagonal line here. Looks like they're going, yep, we got some assets for E, D, and A here. B point is their natural. Some assets for A here. Testosterone hinders strategy. That is a 450 liner. Yeah, this is definitely Flynn's cap fleet here. Flynn forgetting to name their fleets to keep in line with the theme. Oh, look, it's Duke of Stars. Oh, is that Flynn's icon? No, it's not. That is not Flynn's badge. This may not be Flynn, guys. I may have messed up. All right, let's take a look at the teams. Oh, it's all Beam DDs. Oh, right. Herman, Beam Destroyer, Beam Destroyer, Beam Destroyer. Spy Frig. Gun Capper, Capper, and Capper. 2 empty Cappers, a Gun Capper, a Spy Frig, and 3 Beamstones. Hunter is running the double levy levy carrier here. No bombers in these things at all. Why would you bring bombers in the current meta? Oh my god. Anyway, here's Snipes running... Is this 4 Beamstones? This is 4 Beamstones. 2 empty Cappers and a Police Frig. Interesting. And it would appear that Xenophon is also running 4 Beamstones. Oh my god. A empty cap ship, 2 empty cap ships, and a Police Frig battle group down here. All right. Let's take a look at what 1-800 has brought. Black Bat as the carrier. This is what you'd expect. It has bombers in it? Oh, it has bombers in it. Interesting. Typically don't see that in this current meta. Duke is running 450 liners on Tumble. Okay. Interesting. I guess they outrange beams. Flynn. I was correct. Flynn is running the cap fleet. I knew it. There's Duke of Stars, Scrubby, Black Bat, Stern, Pyrope, and Smallcake. A little sad I didn't get a ship named after me, but whatever. And here's Scrubbus. Scrubbus running the Chargers. Yeah, we have... Whoa, wait, these are not Chargers. What the hell are these things? What am I looking at? Plasma 250 combo... What? This is... These are strange liners. Well, they'll be good in close range, I guess. Very interesting. Anyway, let's take a look at the overall board here. It would appear that Herman is sending a couple empty ships to D-Point to cap it, being supported by their Spy Frig up here with Elent. It's likely that if this thing has a Huntress, it is already spotted on Elent. Yes, it does. Although this MMT is going to be very deadly against these empty cappers here. A-Point is... Looks like it's going to be contested by Flynn's 450 liner, one of their MMTs in a cap ship, against a Beamstone, a couple Police Frigs, and also another Beamstone, because of course a empty capper is going to secure the A-Point here. We'll see if OSP can deny that. E-Point has, like, 3... Is this 4 Beamstones at E? Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, and some cap ships at the E-Point here. Going up against one of Duke's 450 liners and Scrubbus's really strange liners that I'm unsure of what the idea is. Duke is curiously running the 450 liners dispersed here. Very interesting. All right. Both teams secure their naturals pretty quickly here. Missiles do go out onto the capper here on the D-Point here, being covered by jamming from the MMT. This thing has no defenders. These are command validated. Those are going to hit. Trying to bow tank. Does bow tank a little bit well here, although it is already under fire from Duke's 450 and Flynn's MMT here. Taking 450 and 100 mil fire from the liner. Duke swapping fire over to the other capper here, recognizing that they need to kill both of them in order to secure the D-Point here. The Beamstone is in position to deny it if OSP tries to step on and cap it. E-Point, looks like both teams are playing passive at E here. E is typically where both teams go on Tumble, although this ship is being detected by Duke's Bloodhound Tug. It does go dark, meaning that the Bloodhound stops firing. Another missile salvo out on the cappers. These are Cork? Okay. D point, it looks like, will be secured by ANS here. It does not look like those missiles are going to land in time. And with that beamstone there to deny it, that is a very strong position for Limos to be in. Both these cap assets are going to die on the point there, that they do get the point. What's happening down at A? Is this beamstone in the good spot? Yep. So look at this spot for beamstones, by the way. The bunker, the pillbox, I believe people call it. Overlooking A, a very strong position, very well defended. Although, yeah, neither team is really committing ships. Although, that being said, Xenophon is sending a capper for the A point here, testing the waters, seeing what OSB has here. There are so many beamstones spread around the map here from various players. This is going to be a very tough match for 1-800 to dislodge all those ships. Although, that being said, they do not have any, like, very heavy assets here. And with the fleet carrier that Black has, they can potentially snipe off those defending beamstones. The 8-point camper still undetected here. It is going to go out into the open. I do not know if those... I don't know if that's in range. What is the range here to that MMT? 6 kilometers? This thing should be... Oh, yep, there it goes. Now it's spotted. Flynn does have things in the area. Are they going to try and lock this thing and deny it? We will see if Flynn is quick enough on the draw to deny the point here. Up top, Meteor Squadron fires a bunch of SDMs at Joker Squadron, which is loaded with Sarge S1s. Joker is forced... Nope, Joker is committing to the strike, unable to evade. They do start taking those, the Naginantas there. Not Naginantas, what are these ones called? Although that being said, a Naginata salvo in return from, whoa, Squadron of 18. These are coil gun, yeah, 12 coil guns. Jumping onto Meteor Squadron. Meteor Squadron immediately takes heavy losses here. That is a lot of craft to lose so quickly. Yep, Meteor Squadron is kind of messed up. Oof, that's a lot of craft dead. Ruby Squadron sorted with S1 SAR-8 strike. It looks like they are going to the A point to deny it from being capped. A point is denied by Flynn here. They do manage to kill the ship on the point here. The police frigs do start moving up, getting into position to potentially deny the A point from any counter-capping attempt. E point. No one is on the E point yet. The liners choosing to hold their range, recognizing that ANS likely has beams in the area. Very interesting match so far. Beams go out into Duke's 450 liner here. They immediately hit the core. The Blackjack absorbing damage, although I think that's the structure absorbing damage. Nope, there it goes into one of the guns. 450 return fire coming out from Duke, though. They need to kill this thing before it gets into cover. Although, it looks like it is going to get into cover here. Missiles do go out on another beamstone here, although it does look like they're going to rock PD. The Cork is perhaps too aggressive here for the missiles to hit. Do they get around? They get around. These are command-guided. They needed to maintain a lock. The lock is maintained. The missiles hit, doing pretty significant damage to this, this keystone here. An SDM is launched into the void. I don't really know what that was being fired at. Slasher Squadron commits onto Crimson. Bunch of Naginantas go out at pretty long range here. Do they stage properly? They do. Coil gun return fire comes out, although Crimson Squadron loses a very significant number of their craft right off the bat here. That being said, they still do have coil guns. Slasher is only equipped with, Yep, Slasher deciding to stay in within range of Scrubbus's liner here. The point defense is going to help defend them. Pretty significant losses from Crimson here. Duke, one of their other 450 liners, getting beamed out in the open here. Takes severe damage. Looks like E-point was attempted by snipes at some point here, although the ship was killed. This keystone is going to take return fire from the liner, although this liner is just going to go down here. The beamstone's already showing how effective they are in this close-range environment. D-point was attempted, although 2 beamstones say no to that. The only thing left on the D-point now is this 450 liner. which is out in the open here. It needs to start rotating to put fire onto this Keystone, but the Keystone's not spotted. It's jamming out the liner. This liner needs to get into cover, or it's just going to get beamed to hell. Ruby Squadron with the S1 strike committing. Looks like they're committing onto Duke's liner here. Very dangerous position for this liner to be in at the moment. Looks like the other liner finally goes down near the E point here. Those beamstones very deadly at this range. Crimson Squadron here building up to 21 craft. It looks like Hunter is going to try and just maintain combat air patrol with that massive squadron out. Flynn moving back around, getting a flank onto this beamstone. This beamstone is, although the beamstone is pointing in the right direction, it looks like the liner was probably detected on its way. Immediately loses some of the front section, although not a whole lot of damage still. The Keystone does get locked. Flynn does start putting 450 downrange on the Keystone. Keystone hits the drive section. Never mind, it gets a pretty bad aim point hitting in this area where there's nothing that it can kill. 450 going out, already hitting the beam, doing significant damage. Beam is out, although there are additional beamstones in the area. Xenophon already moving the other one in range to help. Crimson Squadron trying to hunt down Slasher here as Slasher is maintained in the air, still with firing. They fired like all of their Naganatas. Very dangerous position for Slasher to be in without those long-range SDMs. Duke's liner trading fire with this Keystone, getting support from Scrubbus from up top. As Scrubbus comes around over the top here, getting the drop on some of these Keystones. Although that being said, there are still Keystones in the area to help out their brethren. A point being secured by ANS, or no, by OSP here. The Keystones are distracted with the liner. They're unable to deny that. The police frigs begin to move on to the point here. Although that being said, there's another beam. There's too many beams. There's too many beams for OSP to handle here. Although Xenophon's not battle shorting. No, Xenophon breaks line of sight. The pillbox does not give them the line of sight they need to kill this capper. It is drives down. It is severely injured. Will it be able to survive long enough to cap the point? Xenophon's additional beamstone here puts fire into this MMT, pours it out pretty badly. The liner trying to move back out of range of all of these beamstones. This Keystone trying to get into firing arc. It fires! But it's not soon enough. A point is captured by OSP right before the ship goes down. It is now a 2-2 cap here, although ANS does still have the points advantage here. Scrubbus's liners wreaking havoc on all these beamstones that were facing in the wrong direction. Putting Plasma, 250 and 100 mil down on this thing. This thing's beam is already severely damaged. Takes more damage. It is not going to be able to battle short for long. This liner should be able to win this fight. The other one also joining in up above. It has its guns pointing in the wrong direction. Rather unfortunate, although it has managed to core out the beams. No restores on this one. That beamstone no longer has any effective weapons. E-point being secured by ANS. A-point also being secured by ANS as they put a ship on the A-point here. Although that being said, Flynn's liner is in the area. Should be able to deny it. Hot Rod Squadron and Vampire Squadron engage over here. It looks like Black Bat was hunting down the carriers. They are spotted. ANS knows where the carriers are. Oh, and this liner is incredibly close to where they are as well. This could be big for 1-800 here. Coring yet another beamstone with the liners up top. This up top flank has been very effective. This beamstone is still effective. It is currently bearing to target, trying to get into range of the liner here and engage it. Scrubbus does have additional liners up here. Scrubbus is putting fire down on the carriers. These things do not have a lot of damage control. If these start taking much damage, they are going to go down here to Scrubbus. Scrubbus being supported by Hot Rod Squadron. The carrier is not going to be able to get immediate strikes in on these liners. As, yeah, Scrubbus is just going to rush down the carriers. This could be big. A-point does get secured by ANS here, though. The liner unable to deny it. D-point, however... Oh, whoa. Massive S1 Star 8 strike against the liner here. Chaff doing its job, trying to decoy a lot of them. Lots of chaff goes out. This liner doesn't take a whole lot of damage, and that strike is empty and returning to base. D-point being secured by ANS. Where the hell is D-point? up here. Scrubbus got a liner onto the D point. Although these keystones, one of them is beams down, the other one is pretty heavily damaged. The beam is really red. If this liner can rotate fast enough, it can take out the beam before it is able to fire. Snipes trying to beam down this this liner, rushing down the carriers. Although these carriers, the damage is going to start adding up. Yeah, Snipes is just rushing this thing out of its typical position. Checkmate Squadron armed with Spearfish. Looks like they're heading for this keystone here. Going to strike it now that it's out of position. These carriers are going to start taking some pretty heavy damage if those liners were able to maintain their strike. Scrubbus rushing down this keystone here, not letting it recover at all. Its beam is being repaired, but it is under fire, direct fire. And it's getting crossfired by the other liner. Scrubbus using their two different positions to the best of their ability, able to get crossfires out on this keystone here. The other keystone here is still combat effective. Its beam is redded, so it won't be able to battle short, but it is moving up onto a flanking position on this liner. But it fired into a rock! Nope, it was on held fire. It looks like are they battle shorting it at this health? Looks like they are. Damage goes into the drive. Yep, it burns itself out. The beam is now knocked out, and Scrubbus knows exactly where that beamstone is. Snipes is using their other beamstone, getting good damage onto this liner. They do also have another one in the area, also able to strike. Morgan Squadron trying to defend the fleet carrier. We have a police frig that's found the fleet carrier of ANS, or of OSP here. Although Duke's 450 liner is still healthy and still in the area, able to get 100 mil fire onto that ship before it strikes. Checkmate flanking around here, looking to get a strike onto this keystone here. Loosen the area up for Scrubbus to continue to put pressure on these carriers here. Not a lot of damage going into these things yet, although that being said, having a liner on your carriers is not a good position to be in. Flynn continuing to just flank around the bottom here with their 450 liner, trying to get an opening, trying to find those keystones, kill them before they can deny the A point. Missiles out onto this keystone here. Spearfish, strike, dead keystone. That is another keystone killed, as Xenophon is like the only one with all of their keystones still functional. Yeah, ANS still has a lot of keystones to work with here. They're able to kill the drive on this liner here. That is rather unfortunate for Scrubbus. It is not going to be able to pivot its guns into arc to fire at the keystones now. Their last liner still rushing down the carriers here. 1-800 needs to start pushing their advantage here that the liners opened up and start securing caps. Another one of Snipes' beamstones goes down here. And it looks like the E-cap is going to be attempted here. The capper moving off the point. Does this ship have weapons on it? No, it doesn't. It has a mine layer and a jammer. But the E-point still should be able to go to 1-800 here, as Duke is in the area to put fire into this ship to make sure the cap gets secured. Cascade Squadron, also armed with Spearfish, is sorting as well, looking to finish off, looks like some of the keystones. Scrubbus pivoting to engage the keystones guarding D-point here, trying to save their other liner, although this thing has taken severe damage at this point. A beam goes out from one of Snipes' keystones here. No restores on this thing. Very small damage control complement as well. These things are super cheap. If Scrubbus is able to grade that beam, this keystone is no longer going to be combat effective. Lynn, moving up back here, spotted by this defending keystone in the back here, defending OSP's natural. This keystone is undetected. Flynn does not know it's there. He goes into the hands of 1-800, and Scrubbus continues to put fire onto this keystone here. Grays out the beam. This thing is no longer combat effective, though that being said, there are still 3 beamstones within very close range of Scrubbus' last liner here. Although they have taken the pressure off of this liner, it's able to get its drives back online, and it is able to start maneuvering out of the area. These beamstones are no longer pointed to it. Although one of them still is, although it's behind a rock. The other one Trying to pivot out to engage, although it is spotted. Scrubbus needs to start rotating this liner to start getting fire into those ships before they can start hitting him back. Black Bat is moving their 450 liner into range, into the middle of the map here, maybe trying to put some fire onto the keystones to help out Scrubbus. Scrubbus, though, does get crossfired by Xenophon's Beamstone here. So many Beamstones this game as, yeah, ANS is using their advantage of being able to take these very deadly close-range ships. As Scrubbus's last remaining liner drives down, takes a lot of heavy damage here. It does start getting fire back onto this keystone here, but I don't think it's going to be enough damage to save the liner. The liner is structure broken, starts taking damage to most of its internal compartments. These carriers that Hunter brought don't have a lot of craft left. But Black Bat still appears to have a good complement of their own. Escape Squadron diving onto one of these beamstones here, looking to finish it off to secure the D point here. Scrubbus very heavily damaged up here. Able to... Oh, the beam goes red! Scrubbus could be able to recover this liner. Yep, it's still firing back. That thing could gray out that beam if it gets a lucky hit. Gets some hits into the aux steering. Yeah, this beam is still stuck on Battle Short. Xenophon maybe forgetting to micro this ship. The beams takes more damage. That's only 100 mil. It's not enough to break DT. 450 fire from Duke is going to finish off Herman's beamstone there. One of them is still functional, though, although Tyrant Squadron is approaching the area. They have spotted this keystone here. Tyrant needs to focus on this one here to make sure that there's no ships left. Duke doing their best to spot ships in the area. Is able to spot this capper here. This beamstone here is now detected, likely by Tyrant's radar. Scrubbus still pouring fire into this keystone here. Still unable to gray the beam. The damage threshold of the beam cannon is pretty high, and 100 mil is unlikely to break it. Tyrant takes heavy losses to SDMs here. And he is being resecured by, was being secured by ANS here before this keystone got hell-bombed. Flynn still trying to move around the map here. It looks like they're trying to pick off the keystones that have positioned themselves around the map, although they are completely unaware of some of them hiding behind rocks and cover. Spearfish do go out into this keystone here, managing to take out the beam and knock out its CIC. This ship only has one restore. It will not be able to get that beam back online, as D-Point's effectively secured here by 1-800. Looks like Flynn is trying to engage the carriers, completely unaware there are several beamstones between him and where the carrier is. The Keystones managing to finish off Scrubbus's liner here. Although, did they take out the reactor on this thing? Oh, no, they took out the reactor! It has no restores! This Keystone is combat ineffective. Hang on, how many combat effective Keystones does ANS still have left? None there. Snipeses are all defanged. Looks like only 4. And one of them is... And some of them are pretty heavily damaged. Yeah, ANS is running out of assets here. The Keystones are not surviving all that well when under direct fire, and although they've given 1-800 heavy losses, 1-800 still should have the assets here to really kind of deal with them if they manage to play their cards right. Flynn is still flanking around the map here. Xenophon potentially moving another one of their Keystones to help out with that. Hot Rod getting strikes out on this police frig. Trying to open up the path for one of Flynn's cappers to get onto the A-point here. Does it have bomb follow-up? It does. This thing has no restores. Its reactor is overloading. They need to scram that thing or this thing's going to explode. It does not have the repair speed to fix that. There's now nothing overlooking the A-point. Both of these Keystones have looked away to deal with Flynn's liner. Dagger being secured by ANS here. Looks like one of the cappers steps onto the point here, although it is in range of the Duke's 450 liner. It does take a couple bomb hits, too. This thing only has a basic CIC, no restores, does have an aux steering that'll help. But Black should be able to... Not Black. Duke should be able to deny this with the 100 mil 450. Atlas going into the hands of 1-800 here. Nothing to deny it. The police frig's knocked out. The Keystone gets killed by the bombers. 3 combat effective Keystones left. They are dropping like flies here. Flynn's 450 liner has managed to flank around the map here. There are still some Keystones in the area to try and kill it, but with the 450 already pointing in the right direction, I don't think these Keystones will be able to do enough damage to it. D-point does go into the hands of ANS here. Duke unable to deny it with the liner, although the liner is moving on to the point to cap it. Fencer Squadron is, Sarh S1s, I believe, trying to hit this liner here, make sure it never caps the point. Aura Squadron, is it going for the, That is a lot of chaff dropped by this this liner here. Flak as well. Should be able to clean up that strike quite nicely here. Atlas being secured by OSP here. Nothing to defend it. This police frig is going to detonate. Unfortunate for ANS here. This 450 liner is very dangerously close to this Keystone here. Xenophon does recognize that they have a proper ambush here. Could be able to kill this thing. Both sides heavily bled on assets here, although Black Bat does still have quite a lot of craft left compared to Hunter by the looks of things. Is this Keystone going to pop out? The Keystone is going to pop out. The liner fires 450 at the carrier. It's going to be on reload when that Keystone pops out. Very unfortunate for Flynn here. Flynn might be able to mission kill this this carrier, though. Yeah, that's a lot of 450. Takes out the big hangar. The pads are still functional. There goes a large pad, although it's not really needed considering that there are no bombers on this thing. No restores either on this carrier as it's going to start taking some heavy damage from the 450. Although Flynn is going to get jumped here by this beamstone. Very unfortunate for him, but Dagger being resecured by OSP here as Duke moves their liner into position. It does get beamed. One of Xenophon's last remaining beamstones here does get a good shot onto the liner here. Although that beam is not really able to be burnt through as it is already redded out. I believe it's already been restored once this game. And it's immediately grayed by what I can only assume to be HEHC goes into it. The beam goes out into Flynn's liner here, immediately hits the drive section. This thing does still have 2 drives, so it does have a little bit of redundancy. Flynn needs to pivot their guns onto firing at this beamstone, or they're just going to get obliterated here. There goes one drive. The other one very heavily damaged. Flynn manages to kill one of the carriers here. D-point and B-point going into the hands of ANS. The Keystone that was guarding B, too busy with Flynn's liner. As Flynn begins to roll the liner to engage the Keystone. D-point is being contested by this police frig here. No, this spy frig throwing itself onto the point to try and keep the point from being taken. Although the 100 mil should be able to clean up this thing pretty quickly here. Basic CIC, no restores. B-point trying to be denied by Voodoo Squadron, but the ship has chaff. The Sarh misses. Joker Squadron trying to commit onto Flynn's liner here, although it does have flak, it does have chaff. And the last... Only one combat effective Keystone left as Xenophon's last Keystone gets its beam knocked out. There is still one. It appears to be hunting around for the carrier in the back line. Maybe trying to go for C. There are sprint mines on the point. This thing has no defenders. If it is unlucky with its chaff, it might be able to just get killed by those mines if it's not careful. What an incredible match this has been. The all beamstone strategy being just systematically taken out by ANS's superior, or OSP's superior firepower here. Flynn's liner pretty heavily damaged here, but still fully restorable. Hunter losing a carrier here. Not a whole lot of assets left. Only Star H strikes really remaining out of them, and the chaff that OSP has on their ships should be more than enough to really deal with it. Keystone gets a beam on the fleet carrier. The fleet carrier... Oh, no. Drive's knocked out. Hangar knocked out. There is nothing back here to destroy that Beamstone, as it looks like Black Bats is going to get knocked out here. Malice Squadron rushing in with the KBU-22s in an attempt to save the carrier. Xenophon is not battle shorting this thing as it starts taking return fire from Duke's liner here, recognizing that they need to protect their teammates at all costs. That carrier is essential for 1-800 strategy here to win this fight. No PD on this Keystone means that these bombs will likely get through if Malice launches at the last possible moment. D-Point, the ship on D-Point no longer being fired at by Black Bat. Or not Black Bat, Duke, recognizing that they need to prioritize this Keystone to protect their carrier. The bombs go out, no defenders, those hit right in the front. Beam is knocked out. That is the last combat effective Beamstone defanged. There is one left. It has its beam restored, although this liner is pointing directly towards it, and that beam is already heavily damaged. I don't think ANS can come back from this. They've just been bled of assets so completely. Another SAR-8 strike into this liner here. Chaff does go out, and there are only like 4 ships in the attacking squadron. Not enough at all to really deal with this craft. As Duke is going to have no problem finishing off this Keystone here with the 450. Limos calling it GG, recognizing that they have nothing on the board to contest the 4 cap, or the 5 cap that 1-800 is about to get. As it is now 1-1. We are on to the final match on Yukon to decide the fate of the entire tournament. What an incredible comeback from 1-800 that match. Able to just systematically pick off the Beamstones there. The Beamstones constantly being forced out of position by 1-800's rapid repositioning with their liners. Yeah, the rush from Scrubbers over the map, forcing a lot of those Beamstones to completely break out of their defensive positions and rush them down, making them easy pickings for the carrier and other liners that OSP had. Incredible team play from 1-800 there. Very impressive. The Beamstones do rack up quite a lot of damage, able to severely damage a lot of 1-800's assets there. But none of them, yeah, no PD on a lot of the Keystones too. Makes them very, very vulnerable to carrier strikes, as we saw there. Once Black Bat got air superiority over Hunter, was just able to just continuously keep striking the Beamstones until they were pretty much all gone. What an incredible second match there. We are on to Yukon. Did I misspell something again? God damn it. It wouldn't be a escape video without me misspelling something super easy to spell. It's like the teams are going to do a bathroom break really quickly here. Damn, that one was fucking incredible. That last match was probably one of the best matches we've had in this tournament so far. What a fucking insane back and forth between both teams. Yeah, it took to like the final couple minutes of that last one for it to really be decided. Like ANS just had, even though they were losing those Beamstones quite quickly, they just had so many of them. But it wasn't enough. Quick, change the requirements so we're still the only one who won against Limos. You guys did really good in that match you had against Limos a couple weeks ago. Shrimp Fried Rice did. But, yeah, I gotta get a drink after that last one. Of water, of course. Stay hydrated, as Vastal would say. Mm. I actually do have, I could actually pour myself an alcoholic drink if I so chose to. But I'm not going to do that. Water is better for you, folks. It's not a Saturday night for me, it's a Saturday afternoon, and I still have, like, I've still got a report to write after this. A lab report. I need to worry about that later. But that's after tournament me's problem. Tethys, why did you just DM me calling me an old man? That's Sunday's problem? Well, it's a long report. I'm not going to finish it today, but I don't want to, like, not have any of it done by tomorrow. Right? Like you get me there? I can do, like, the starting phase of the report today and do a little bit of it, but yeah. I'm going to do most of it tomorrow, but I don't want to just not... I don't want to have to, like, do an entire report in one day. Now do it all of it on Sunday, Trust. Oh, no. Yeah, it's gonna keep me up at night worrying that I have to do that thing if I don't do any of it tonight. Ah, that's why you dimmed me that. Okay, that clarifies things. It would appear that Black Bat has returned from their break. Actually, how poetic is this that we're on Yukon for the final, It's very poetic that we're on Yukon for the final round. Yesterday, both 1-800 and LIMOS had a match on DOS's new ranked server, DLO, and they played on Yukon. It's kind of poetic that we're back here then, because we kind of had like an early preview of the tournament last night. For the record, LIMOS. Yeah. So DOS has a server up, DLO, DOS Ranked Online? DOS League Online? No, DOS League Online. And the server automatically records your wins and losses, and it gives you basically a skill rank, like an actual like competitive video game would, based on like your performance and your win rate. So it's an actual like competitive server, and you can view the leaderboard on like a website. But LIMOS is the one that won that match yesterday on Yukon, by the way. So we'll see if 1-800 can get their revenge. I expect full carriers from both. I do, yeah. You could, yeah. I was very surprised that Black Bat didn't bring a carrier the first one, considering like how good they are at carrier. Because even against even against Hunter playing carrier, they still were able to get combat air superiority by the end of the game and just continuously strike things for basically unimpeded in the final part of the match. The battleship was definitely a curious choice from 1-800 the first time. I don't really understand. I mean, I understand it, right? Having good meat that is very survivable is really useful. And the defensive frigate with the SDMs on the battleship make it pretty survivable against carriers. But it was unable to, yeah. The BB was unable to really do anything that first one. It just kept getting suppressed by the carrier and the rail cello. I understand the BB, but not the rest. The double voxel under the map like that, the double voxel fleet under the map like that is actually very strong. I know it's very strong because when I played for Colon 3 last weekend, we lost to that strategy. Triple voxel to run through the backside of Yukon. That's your theory. Interesting. Well, in the ranked match last night, Scrubbus played a voxel fleet and went really wide on BD side on Yukon and tried to contest the D point with them. We'll see if they try that strategy again. I doubt they will, considering that they basically showed Limos that strategy existed in the match last night, and they definitely still probably remember it. Limos is fully readied up here. Railstone's high to hassle anything trying to sneak onto AC. Potentially. Rails and mass drivers on Yukon, you would think that they would be pretty strong, but the firing lanes on Yukon aren't actually as good as you'd think for Rails. I don't really... Yeah, they're... Like, you have a big sightline down the middle at A, but that's like the only sightline you have for Rails and mass drivers on Yukon. There's like no other places where they really work. There's too much cover in around the other points that they don't really work all that well on Yukon. All right, Limos is all readied up. They're good to go. Flynn is continuously delaying the game. Yukon has very good cover, mixed terrain. Yeah, the, between E and C, there is a lot of cover in that cluster there, and you can be in that cover and contest all A, E, and C. They're setting tags. God damn it, 1-800. Oh, and it would appear that Limos has finally figured out that they can all run the same paint scheme. They've been forgetting to do that in their other matches. That's definitely what cost them the last match, actually. They forgot that they could do that. We'll see if everyone on 1-800 remembers to rename all of their ships to just blank. Paint scheme secured, victories assured. Yep. There's nothing that 1-800 can do. It's over. GG. Now Snipes is delaying the game. Well, you know what? It wouldn't be a game of Nebulous without the authentic lobbyless experience. Sitting in a lobby for 10 minutes waiting for everyone to ready up. All right, there we go. I'm get a drink of water before we start. Hello all, and welcome to round 3 of the All Hands on Deck Community Tournament Grand Finale here. 1-800 managed to secure their last game in a very incredible match here, bringing the score to 1-1. We're on Yukon here for our tiebreaker. 1-800 has gone back to ANS. They are Duke of Stars, Blackbat, Strubbus, and Flynn. Meanwhile, Limos is back on OSP. We have Hunter, Herman, Xenophon, and Snipes. Very fitting that we're on Yukon, considering that these two teams had a match last night where they also played on Yukon on the new competitive server that exists. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how the teams vary their strategies from that game. That game was not recorded, so I will cease talking about it now. Anyway, let's see where the teams are deploying here. Looks like we have some very heavy ANS presence up here at C. Oh, wow, we're already ready to go. Okay, both teams locking in their deployment very quickly here. I see the same Acello that Limos brought during their first game here. Maybe a similar strategy for them. We will see. Alrighty, let's go over the teams really quick. Blackbat, to no one's surprise, is bringing the carrier. We have 2 levies here. All Tontos, nothing else. Duke of Stars running the Voxel half-cap fleet we saw in the first round. Put the Voxels low underneath this dividing wall here. Empty cap assets around the map here. Flynn has the double CL. They're going for the E-poke. Look at that. Love to see it. And Scrubbus, is this Big Milk? It's Big Milk! The return of Big Milk. It wouldn't be a finale without Scrubbus running Big Milk. We will see how that works for them. Let's take a look at what OSP brought here. Herman running the same double Acello build we saw out of the first one. Once again, escorting Xenophon's Monitor Ball here. Very, very excellent strategies from them. And it would look like, yeah, it would look like everyone on Limos is running the same fleets they did the first round here. Hunter running this very, very successful cap fleet here. They did very well with this the first one. We're able to back cap several points. We have a Rail Cello, a very cheap 250 100 liner here. 4 meat tugs and 2 gun shuttle cappers. And Snipes is running the fleet carrier. I'm assuming it's all Barracudas. Yep, it is all Barracudas. As you would expect, why would it be anything different? Both teams securing their naturals of B and D here. E and C will be capped momentarily here. Flynn is rushing their voxels onto the E point here, going wide, trying to detect the ships moving onto the point here. There is a gun shuttle and a meat tug. The shuttle already pinged on burn through. Looks like Hunter is putting their liner in position to maybe try and deny the E-poke here. Although 250 100 on this liner, these voxels should be able to outgun it considering how cheaply built this thing is. Not a whole lot of buff modules on this thing at all. ANS manages to get B first. C point and E point being capped simultaneously. D point going into the hands of OSP here by one of Hunter's meat ships. Is the E-poke happening? It is! RPF going out onto this capper shuttle here. It is already majorly messed up. This DC team is hanging out in the reactor. This thing is going to die, like, instantaneously here. The DC team still alive. Still at 5 members. That's actually pretty impressive. E-point is going to... The meat tug is veering off the cap here. Is it going to go for the cap, or is it going to back off? RPF now going into the meat tug here. Did the shuttle drift off the point? Oh no, the shuttle drift off the point! Flynn diverting fire to the meat tug here, which jumps on the point to try and cap it. Although this thing has no damage control teams. The rapid DC locker team getting killed instantaneously by the RPF. All Flynn has to do is read out like the basic CIC or one of the aux steerings, and this thing is toast. What's happening on the rest of the map? It looks like the monitors are pushing into the C point here over the top by A, getting into a position to both deny A and potentially push onto C if needed. The tug goes down on E point here. The E-poke works. Flynn is able to just completely deny the cap here from OSP, and that's gotta hurt. The liner backing off from E, recognizing that it can't outgun those voxels. It is leaving the point entirely. Duke under the map, putting RPF into this other gun tug here, denying the A point here. Very impressive play from these voxels, getting themselves into very aggressive frontline positions, able to just completely obliterate Hunter's capper assets here. Meanwhile, Arbiter Squadron with coil guns jumps onto Goblin Squadron. Goblin Squadron takes heavy losses. This was a rocket strike, potentially out on the C-cap. Although Dagger Squadron also has R1 rockets, looks like it's going to try and destroy this capper before it gets into cover here. Although Duke is... Oh, it looks like... I'm assuming Goblin got a successful strike on this ship, and that's what happened. Arbiter taking grape shot fire. They should be on evade. They should be getting out of there. Rocket strike goes into this still healthy empty capper here. Strive takes massive firepower. It looks like it managed to drive tank that pretty effectively here. The damage control team still very healthy. Dagger Squadron jumps Arbiter here, although they are flying into range of the point defense fields of Big Milk here. Will those defenders be enough to destroy Dagger? One down. SDM's launched at close range against Dagger here. Scrubbus wanting to protect their one asset at all costs. Beam goes out. trying to destroy the ships with the beam, as Dagger is just going to get picked apart here. Sunder Squadron hanging out low on the map here. These are SAR H strikes, potentially hunting for light assets around the E point here. Flynn backs off from the E point here. Typically the smart move. Flynn is just going to wait until the ships get back onto the E point to deny them. D is trying to be capped by this meat tug here, but Big Milk is in the area, able to just core this thing out instantaneously. Hunter is bleeding cap assets really quickly here early into the match, as several cap attempts have just been completely foiled. ANS off to a very good start here. Bastion Squadron hunting down the remains of Dagger here. Dagger on high burn out of there. Oh no! The cap asset on E detonates! No, that was the meat tug. Detonating onto the capper, the other capper on E, killing all of it. E is now completely open. There is nothing that OSP has to cap it. There's also nothing to deny it. If Flynn was still over here, you could just take the point for free. The liner moving up to C here, maybe trying to get onto the point, although Big Milk in the area. Hunter potentially thinking that it's only a beamstone guarding the C point here, moving this very powerful asset in position. Big Milk should be more than a match for this single liner, though, if this liner does commit to the C poke. The monitors rushing down B point. These things are being incredibly aggressive. ANS mostly just ignoring these things. Reactor Bloom from this meat tug here. Dragoon Squadron start taking additional SDMs from the voxels down low. RPF fire also going into Dragoon Squadron, trying to protect the A-cap here, although it still does take rockets. Will it survive? No, just barely doesn't. A-cap is denied, but Dragoon loses all of their craft to deny it. Duke honestly should have no problems just taking their voxels onto the A point here. The liner pushing onto C is in no position to deny A. The monitors not really in a position to deny it either. Nope, never mind. They are re-pivoting over to deny the A, recognizing that there are voxels under the map they need to deal with. They have detached a single monitor to secure B here, as well as a cap shuttle in the back. Duke repositioning the voxels here, maybe trying to look out for the back cappers. Duke does have this really exposed cap asset here that's just going to get picked apart by, yeah. Hunter, however, making themselves apparent that they're here by firing at the capper here. If anyone on ANS is paying attention, they fully know that there are ships here. Sunder Squadron gets an S1 SAR H strike out against this liner here. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it does dissuade this thing from stepping onto the C point here. Big Milk still in a relatively good... Big Milk is flanking! Big Milk knows that there's a liner here. Flanking around, it is completely unspotted. Bastion has chased Dagger Squadron out of the map entirely. Very silly. Anyway, the Acellos start putting fire onto the voxels here. The voxels realizing that they do not want to take this fight, immediately rushing back. They are out of range to return fire on this Acello here. They need to get into cover to not be destroyed by this thing. Although, that being said, look at this. The monitors starting to kind of split. No, not really split up. This Acello did move out of range of the Acello, of the monitors, but there is still another one in the area. Big Milk pushing up and over by the looks of it, maybe trying to get a missile sight onto these monitors here. If Big Milk can core these monitors, it's going to open up the entire map for ANS here. Flynn is removing back onto the E point, recognizing that since nothing tried to recap this point, there is likely nothing there to stop him from just taking it. B point is being secured by this shuttle here. Does Black Bat have anything to stop that? Not by the looks of it. There are no craft in the area to really defend that. Bastion Squadron is a air superiority squadron potentially rushing into the back here, maybe looking to find these massive squadrons that ANS has camped back here by sea. Are the voxels going for A? No, they're staying low. The monitors and Acellos are out of position to really do anything about A. Although that being said, Duke is starting to lose some of these really light, very cheap cap assets, though. Bastion finally finds Dagger in the void where my camera can't even pan closer to them. This is as far as my camera can pan onto them, by the way. They are a full 15 kilometers outside of the map. Very, very interesting move. E point being secured by ANS here as they take the enemy natural. Nothing there to stop it. Duke's voxels moving on to the D point here. There is nothing to stop them from taking it. The Acellos might be able to get some fire into them, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop them from capping it. These things are moving on to B. Big Milk about to round the corner here. Is it in detection range of the fleet carrier? That's about 9 kilometers. Does this thing have a parallax? Big Milk might spot the fleet carrier. Oh no. It might just be barely in range. Beam goes out into the liner that's rushing onto the C point here. The fleet carrier gets spotted by Big Milk. This could be massive for ANS here. The SAR HS1 strike also finds yeah, they land. That is a structure-broken liner. This is a very useful asset to lose. Ballista Squadron, 28 strong, jumps the SAR-H attacking fleet, though. Dagger, Falcon does its best to help, but only 6 of them. It's not going to be a lot. SDMs go out. HEKP out on the liner, looking to finish it. Are these going to rock PD? Looks like these are going to... Oof. Those are very expensive missiles to rock PD. Yeah, the liner are using its superior speed to get behind cover. We have a massive dogfight emerging over here by Big Milk here. Big Milk doing its best, helping with its SDMs as best as possible. Although that is 27 craft from OSP here on the C point here. More missiles being programmed. Potentially, are these things going out against the rail ship? Potentially. We will see where those missiles are going. The dogfight here developing as Jackal and Ruby move to reinforce. The voxels they're not spotted yet, although the monitors and Acellos on the top of the ridge here are moving back to help. I think those were just more SDMs from Scrubbus. Ballista Squadron here only loses like a single craft in that massive engagement. Very impressive. Although these are HEKP command missiles out on this poor bow-on rail cello with no defenses. This thing is going to get obliterated. 2 missiles, takes it out. The rail cello is no more. Big Milk doing its best to try and maintain within point defense range of this massive strike here. Although, uh-oh. This is a hellbombing strike out against Scrubbus. Does Scrubbus have any SDMs left? No, they do not. This could be very bad for ANS if that strike goes through on Big Milk. Big Milk has expended very little of its missiles. Vampire Squadron, yep, going in with the R1 strike. They will be followed up by the bombs. As those bombs come in, will Big Milk be able to dodge that? No, the bombs come in. Too close. Big Milk is now no more. A very unfortunate loss for ANS here. That is a very expensive asset to lose. The voxels on D still unspotted. The monitors and Acellos appear to just be hanging out here. Maybe moving closer to C? The liner recognizing that there's now nothing to deny the C point here. Slowly moving on to the point. There's nothing to protect the carriers in the backline here if OSP just pushes. One of the other cappers moving into the A point here, as the voxels potentially moving on to D. Flynn is still hunting in the back, maybe trying to find the fleet carrier that OSP has, although by now it has moved up into the front line here, looking to stay protected, recognizing that Flynn did cap the E point and it was likely moving up behind them. This is still anyone's game. B point firmly capped by OSP here. Nothing ANS has that can retake that. The carriers on the edge of the map here. C point being secured by what's left of Hunter's liner here. Without Big Milk to put missiles into those monitors and Acellos, that is a very devastating loss for ANS here, as Big Milk is going to just explode onto the point here. HE-shaped container going into this capper here. Perhaps Hunter thinking that it's still alive, looking to finish it off. Strife Squadron is a bombing squadron going out onto this capper on A. The capper is already under fire from the monitors, and I do believe Strife will be able to finish this thing off. Nope, it gets finished off by the monitors. Never mind. A point being denied. C point being, yep, capped by OSP here. Flynn's Voxels moving up back to the C point here, maybe looking to recap it and defend it. The monitors and the front line moving on to the A point here, leaving D open, except for one Acello. One of them is still paying attention. Although that being said, Duke is firing on its belly. If Duke can probably commit to, might be able to just commit to this. Although it looks like they're moving back, this could be bad for Duke. If Duke rounds this corner at close range to the monitors, they're just going to get torn apart. D point being capped by the escort of Duke's Voxels here. The Voxels putting fire into this Acello here, trying to stop it from running down onto the point. That Acello is not going to be able to deny the D point, although it will be able to recap it once the ship is killed. Ballista is a air superiority wing heading towards the carriers, looking to deplane them. Very, very aggressive plays from Snipes here, just forwarding this entire squadron onto the carriers. Lots of S1s and anti-craft missiles go out from Knight and Duster Squadron, looking to break up Ballista. Although Ballista has massive numbers behind them, and I don't think that Black Mat has the craft that they need to really dislodge that. A point is going to get secured by OSP here. Duke's Voxels entering a close-range engagement with the ships on A. Not where you want to be, although the rest of the monitors are still pretty far back. They might be able to pick off this this monitor here and move on. Still firing RPF into it. The Acellos are pushing forward against these Voxels here. These Voxels need to open the range or they're just going to get torn apart. Ballista Squadron still going strong here. The amount of craft they have is just completely overwhelming for Black to deal with. Their carriers are spotted. Missiles out from Flynn, looking to support the A attack here. They get a crossfire on this Acello here, putting fire into its broadside. They're firing HE. Will these missiles get through? This ship has a lot of Auroras on it, although this jamming support, the missiles do have jamming support. Looks like the Auroras will clean the missiles up, though. Looks like the engagement has started at A. One of the Voxels, pretty expectedly, is already torn up here, being so close to all that front line. Meanwhile, Flynn is trying their best to help out by putting fire into the broadside of this Acello, but it's not a whole lot of damage. Ballista Squadron is now on top of the fleet carriers, or the carriers on ANS here, as it looks like they're just going to get deplaned. ANS is going to run out of carrier assets here. D point being resecured by this meat tug here. Duke unable to really do anything about that. This Acello has moved close range to this Voxel, and it's just going to chew it up with the 450. Flynn still doing their best to get crossfires onto this fleet at A, although not doing a whole lot of damage to them yet. The damage on this Acello is going to start adding up, but it's not going to be enough. There are still monitors in the area that Flynn will have to deal with. Although, just like the first match, a reactor bloom on the Acello and one of the monitors strips their armor. Flynn is definitely going to know that these things have no armor, although they are being rushed down by the rest of the monitors. Flynn needs to get out of here, is probably going to be unable to really take advantage of that massive opening that they just got. The Acello Voxel fight down here between Duke and Herman is going about as well as you'd expect for Duke. This poor, yeah, the Reddit magazine means this thing is going to be unable to fight back for the time being. Flynn has a little bit of a formation thing here as one of his voxels collides with the escort. Flynn is no longer firing back. Can he see these things through the jamming? Yeah, he can. I don't know why he's not firing back at them. No fire orders from these voxels at all. There it is. Fire order given. Firing at a burn-through track. The amount of jamming these ships are putting out is just enough to keep them hidden from the voxels. Ballista Squadron forced to turn home due to fuel. Have pretty much completely deplaned Black, though. Black still does have craft left, but has taken severe losses. These voxels, without the support of Big Milk, are just going to be unable to do with these monitors. Yeah, that was a devastating loss for ANS, losing that missile ship. Duke losing one of their last voxel here. Both of them severely damaged, unable to put out any weapons fire at all at the moment. One of them CIC down, and the other one just completely crippled. Flynn's getting pushed to the back of the map here. Unable to maneuver away from these monitors. The jamming that these monitors are putting out just completely removing him from being able to do much of anything at all. Snipes has put their fleet carrier on the C point. ANS, with a very strong opening to this game, were just unable to keep the momentum going after they lost Big Milk. Hunter's Liner starting to put fire down on the carriers. The carriers rushing into C, probably to try and retake it. Wasp Squadron is, I'm assuming, a SAR H strike. Yep, another SAR H strike, looking to finish off this liner to open up the C point for the carriers to retake. Although with the enemy fleet carrier here, I don't think they're going to be able to do it. The SAR H missiles go out. Illuminators are not fired until the last moment. Black Bat microing them very well. The missiles hit. This liner takes heavy damage from Wasp, although is still combat effective. Yeah, Duke completely, their voxels just completely torn apart here, unable to do much of anything at all. Flynn's voxels still alive, but completely zoned out by the monitors, unable to really do much of anything. As Snipes at this point has secured air superiority over the map after pretty much completely deplaning Black Bat. How many craft do they have left? Still, yeah, quite a lot of Barracudas left. Snipes telling me to look at Ruby Flight. Ruby Flight appears to be bugged. Not sure what's going on there. Looks like Ruby Flight is... Looks like they're hitting terrain that doesn't exist for some reason. Very peculiar. Comet Squadron loaded with a bunch of KBU bombs, looking to finish off this liner to open up the cap for the carriers. The bombs are going out from Comet. Will these be enough to K-kill? They will! The structure break kicking in as those bombs destroy the liner, finally, opening up the C point, although, yeah, the carrier is still there. Flynn just continuously spotted by these monitors here, unable to really do much of anything, completely zoned out by their jamming, unable to pin the armor on them much at all. These monitors just in a perfect position to zone out pretty much the entirety of the map from Flynn's voxels. The carriers are undetected and moving on to the C point, and with Ruby Squadron currently bugged. It looks like Snipes was able to recover some of the craft. Is preparing strikes, potentially to hit the carriers and prevent them from capping the point. Comet Squadron inexplicably gets a bomb strike in onto the carrier on OSP. No idea how they managed that. Is able to kill an internal hangar and a deck gear locker, although this carrier is still completely functional. Flynn splitting up the voxels here, maybe trying to get them to different points here, recognizing that they need to do something. Scrubbus surrendering. Yep, no ships left from them. The monitors are now rushing down what's left of Flynn's voxels. Carriers do move on to the sea point here. Gives ANS a tiny bit of breathing room, although they are so pushed back on every other front that I don't think it's going to be enough to really turn the narrative of this this match. Ruby Squadron is a give you rocket strike. They probably should be able to kill these carriers here. These carriers are in pre-flight, although not being launched. These, yeah, the carriers are going too fast to launch craft. Flynn's voxels finally get caught out here. One of them is CIC down, and the other one is getting slowly dismantled by the overwhelming firepower of the monitors. Flynn just completely unable to fight back against these things with all the jamming they have. And the Cello next to them is just able to completely counter out his jamming with the better radar and illuminators. Rebel Squadron is a SAR H strike being sent potentially onto Snipes' fleet carrier, although Fulcrum Squadron is combat air patrol and will have something to say about that. A capper flanking around the back to D point here, although it is being held down by a meat tug. There is nothing that can kill that meat tug over here. Rebel Squadron just getting completely picked apart here by the squadrons that Snipes had. And there goes the surrender from Black Bat. Snipes is surrendered. Flynn is going to die here. Duke has one asset left. Yep, there goes the surrender from Duke. As it is now final, Limos is going to take home the trophy in this tournament with an excellent performance in this third match here. Able to come back from a massive disadvantage at the beginning. Very, very interesting. We are going to head to the event stage to debrief. And I will see you there.
Ooh.
While I'm waiting to get...
We'll get Darg up here. We'll get Scapegoat up here. Robus, don't all talk at once. Duke.
Did you mute Scrubbus, or did Scrubbus mute themselves?
Scrubbus is... I don't have server perms to mute people.
Tragic.
Besides on
Sure
the event
about that.
stage. Who
Buffet
am I
ANS.
missing? Xenophon, get Xenophon up here. Is anyone missing? Flynn is up there.
I think what we could actually take away from this is that we need to buff meat.
I mean,
Obsials?
in retrospect, I should just not have gone E. That was a dumb play. I also learned that I shouldn't listen to Snipes.
Now?
Well,
It's true.
well,
We
I
did learn
will-
that today.
Who
I will
goes over the
take over
top with
here.
liners, dude?
And first, I'd like to say congratulations to Limos for their win in the tournament, and commiserations to 1-800 who got hellbombed. You made a good showing in this finale, and it was a very close finale. If it wasn't for just that swing at the end, in that third round, that was going to be a very strong play. You had a good opener. I'd like to thank everyone all the teams, all 25 of them, that have taken all the time out of their days to play in the tournament. It means a lot to me. It took quite a lot to organize all of this, and I hope all of you enjoyed it. yeah, besides that, I guess I'll ask the players, how do you find it?
I think it was a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
all right.
That was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good matches. Thanks for fighting us, y'all. Yeah, good matches. I enjoyed that a lot.
How did you guys feel about those rounds in particular?
We skate on the second one. That was alright.
Yeah,
Do you know how much effort we spent? Like every single game that we're fighting you guys as ANS, the amount of times we're like, okay, what if Scrub isn't the leader? He might be behind this rock. We gotta go check it. He might be behind that rock. We gotta go check that.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
guess
it's
you
legit
fucking
just-
found me.
Just hard kill Scrubbers, GG.
The second game was the most annoying
That's a
game for
tactic.
us. Because
How did
he
the
got into
Chargers
the
do?
game and he was like, "Oh, my missiles are set to offensive," and then he told me to go high because it was safer with my levies. And then at one point, I have all my craft out in the air and I'm getting shot, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Like what is shooting me?" Oh, it's the liners coming over the top of the map.
Yeah.
Okay, offensive STMs were definitely
The STMs were a
not
mistake.
good.
Offensive
That was-
STMs are meta.
60 of them just down the drain. That was not good.
I am happy because I got a ping wolf. That's a double stock Cobalt W in the finals. So I gotta tell it.
Well,
Stock Cobalt.
Oh, Cobalt, dude.
interesting. Like OSP won every game, which I don't know.
I think
Interesting.
that
Interesting.
is not a symptom of OSP being OP. That is a symptom of all of us being better at OSP.
That could be it.
Right? Like,
Matches.
I don't think ANS is any worse.
In all fairness, all three of them were pretty close. The first one was definitely the least close from the spectator POV, but the last two were like only really decided in the second half.
Yeah, the first one was. I think the first one we had on lock pretty much the whole time. The second one was a nail biter until the end.
Yeah,
And then the third one was. We had a bad opener, but as soon as we took the initiative, we
right.
basically had it. on
That
lock the
third
entire
one,
time.
that third one, as soon as you killed Big Milk, which was that Exford at C, like ANS just had nothing to deal with the monitors and Acellos. They could just put themselves in the middle and completely deny everything.
Yeah.
That's the point. Once Big Milk got hellbombed, that completely turned the script of that match. The second one was definitely, I believe the second one was probably from like a spectator POV, one of the better matches we've had in this tournament. It was back and forth the entire time with all the beamstones ANS had. But yeah, when Strubbs went over the map, what I noticed is that you guys like redeployed all of your beamstones to deal with it. Like you just you completely left all of their like very defensible positions, and then once you did that, they were just able to be picked off one by one.
That is exactly why, like, because I was under the impression that we had to respond to it for the carriers, but
Right.
in retrospect, we probably didn't, because the linear thrust on levies is actually kind of crazy, and as long as you're bow on, you seem to be able to avoid a lot of gunfire. So I should have just like ran away.
No, that is true.
But
I was very surprised about how little damage the levies were actually taking to those liners. They were fine. They were
I
pretty
lost
okay.
2 of my deck gear lockers on one of the levies, which was a really big deal because it halved my flight
Right.
arm time, but
the carrier was still functional.
it was still functional. Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, even if you don't, like, divert the beam stones to help the carriers, you still need to divert the beam stones to kill the chargers, because otherwise I'm just gonna go around in the backline and farm beam
Right.
DDs.
Yeah,
Well,
and then
You need to turn around for that, and like a single beam DD is not gonna cut it.
right. A lot of the DDs were also pretty cringed to fit as many as you guys had. A lot of them didn't have point defense, which I'm sure Blackbat was very happy about at late game. Was able to just
Yeah, we had-
continuously strike them one by one.
Of our 13, or excuse me, not 13. Of our 11 beam destroyers, 8 of them had no PD.
Yeah, that was a weird comp.
It was a bad decision, but we
mean-
wanted the points.
I mean, the comp was working. The comp was working up until Strubbus made their play over the top.
Yeah. Dude, Scrubbus was calling GG like the entire time he pushed over the top. He's like, oh, it's over.
A
It's
literal
over.
Malt
Dude,
Gambit. Malt
dude
Gambit.
lost his liner.
Old Gambit.
I sold it, so it's GG.
I mean,
We just
yeah.
needed a second Malt Gambit.
Scrubbus did lose all their liners, but they took like 3 beamstones with them and made the rest of them leave their positions.
Yeah.
There was a fine DD I lost because there was like bombers coming in with our trees, and I thought it was fighters, so I did not task an appropriate amount of SDM.
Oh, I think I got a view of that one.
We did not have ID on those, so I thought it was fighters that we were loading, but they were not.
It was a very good. It was a very good series of matches.
Snipes, I'm curious what happened on the C engage on Yukon. Like, I had SDMs as well. I don't know if it was just like...
Yeah,
get eaten.
I think...
Yeah, they got like 0 hits. I don't know.
I think when the football gets that big, you're staging on just a bunch of random just chatter like everywhere.
That
Like,
could also be
mostly.
it. Yeah, I'm very
Probably
surprised
get
because in that
command
massive engagement, I think that OSP's massive squadron of 28 only was reduced to 27. Like they only lost like 1 craft in that entire
I don't know
thing.
how
I lost-
our ASF lost so bad anyway.
I lost maybe 8. I think I was down to 18 after that. I reinforced them.
Oh, that
Yeah,
could be it.
yeah.
That could be it. Because yeah, no, that was a very low amount of losses for as many defenses that ANS had in that furball. That was very strange. I'm assuming it was
OSP just had more craft.
I'm assuming it
It
was
was-
the SDM staging into emptiness.
Yeah, when the furballs get that big, the SDMs just get confused, especially when there's
Right.
chaff in between the craft and the SDM coming in.
Yeah.
Normally there isn't.
Because they already have their chaff
Snipes.
pre-dumped because they're in a dogfight.
I'm looking
was-
at the engage list there. You lost like 2 or 3 kudas.
Did I? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Out of
that's
28.
that's pretty consistent with what I saw. Also, there was a very epic moment where Big Milk spotted the fleet carrier on that 3rd one, and I got really excited for a second, and then nothing happened, and I was very sad.
Was it on Viz? Or...
It was not on
You can't
Viz,
be
but it was
tracked.
detected with a bunch of craft around it. Like, it was...
Yeah, but who thinks that the carrier's in the middle of the map?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was like,
It's a good place to put it.
that spotted it, and then I was.
You
like,
did
I
vapor...
was
You,
searching the back line.
you did absolutely vaporize the rail cello, though. That
So
thing...
Snipes, can you tell us what was going on with Ruby Flight there at the tail end of that last game?
I have no idea what caused it. I noticed the thing was stuck on 10 meters a second. You know when craft like launch, they are on like that like hold pattern as they like launch off the carrier. It looked like the speed was locked for that flight, and I tried splitting the flight
Curious.
a few times, and it didn't. The only way I fixed it was when I RTB'd them.
Huh. That's interesting that happened because it was actually last night when these two teams played on the competitive server. We noticed that someone's squadron, despite being like in combat, was still listed as takeoff landing on their speed display for spectators. I don't know if that's related, but yeah, it looked like Ruby Squadron was just like, it looked almost like they were interacting with terrain that wasn't there. Like there was a wall preventing them from getting back to the carrier.
It was like the flight lead of Ruby was stuck on the takeoff animation or the takeoff speed.
Well, we got it on recording. It's been recorded and it's noted that it happened. So hopefully the bug can be fixed and we can figure out whatever that was. That was a very curious thing.
Did you have coil tantos in that dogfight?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was microing them, but I think they just got evade locked just because of the amount of
There's a
gun.
lot. There's just
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
definitely...
We were discussing like having command versus act wake Nagis. I think command Nagis for that situation would have been a lot more reliable.
Yeah, they probably would have actually seen what they were being fired at.
Dude, the first match, so like when we were doing practice, I've run a lot of bombers, but it's always like super risky.
Right.
And in one of the practice matches, like the bomber wing like was able to kill Quiz's Moorline at like 10 minutes. And so our
I
strategy
see.
there
Okay.
was
Yeah.
like this super risky thing of like, okay, we're not going to bring a carrier, and like we're going to try to get the more line, and otherwise like just defend with SDMs,
Right.
which is like extremely risky.
I noticed that Scrubbus's battleship lost that point defense escort very early on, which that sucks.
The Pentabrick hit
when you
like
see-
landed 5 bombshells.
We saw Sarissa, I'm like, oh, just kill it.
Yeah, I should have held fire on that.
Yeah, that was a very rough thing to lose. You did have everyone in my chat was completely like baffled by the 57 SDMs you had in that battleship.
Well, I mean,
that's how you do it.
Bring a carrier. It didn't save me.
Yeah, it worked.
It worked slightly longer.
It worked up until you ran out of SDMs.
Paralord, isn't it? Oh, that's Dud's build.
That's fine. I mean, it's like the same thing anyway.
Yeah, like we had we had so many points in SDMs. I had 16. Flynn had like, how many did you have, Flynn?
28.
28. Scrubbus had 60. Duke had like 16 as well, and it didn't save us.
Yeah.
You know,
in all fairness, Snipes deployed their Moorline in that first one very high and on seaside.
Yeah.
So yeah, your bombers were just completely unable to find it. And then by the time
he put the decoy like where he usually has more like
decoy.
Yeah, very.
That was probably Hunters.
That was her, yeah. Or that would have been Xenos.
It was a Hunter. He
But
sent
yeah,
one there.
I got a little too excited and I just sent the missiles before confirming what it was. So
Yeah, that obviously gave away
it's
that you had
hilarious
that.
though.
Yep, and yeah, and then the monitors were just in between you and the carrier for that entire time. You can't really deal with those.
Flynn,
I mean-
when you were pushing our backline on your left, my right side, your SDMs firing. We didn't know exactly where the spinners were. We knew they were somewhere there, but your SDMs gave it away.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah,
I
so,
pointed
like,
that out. I
I-
pointed that out in my stream
Yeah.
as well. That your SDMs were fired from undetected
I was
tracks
holding
low.
them, but I saw like a bunch of like I saw clear sight lines, so I was like, why not send it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying my best to stay on track, like setting the turrets off and all that. Whatever, it was fun.
Right.
The meat tugs were so painful on Gold Rush to play against because it was like you kind of need, if you want to beat them with Corvettes, you need torp Corvettes. So, but obviously I just had cringe cappers.
Right.
I mean, Corvettes now are not that worth it. If
I
you
don't
get
even.
plain.
I don't even think Torp vets are good against them. You need hybrids because
Yeah.
they have the Pavis
Yeah.
on the side, and the Pavis. Every
Yeah.
time I played against Torp vets with those tugs, they still kill the Torps. So
Yeah, and it was
The thing against meat tugs is what you really want is 2 Corvettes, one of which has a jammer. Right? If you have a jammer, you
yeah.
It still takes
You're
a lot.
doubling
of
their
time.
price.
it's
Like
it's
you're
just-
doubling their price to
yeah.
beat them.
For
you,
sure,
you need
yeah.
twice their point investment in order to beat them. Really.
You're also just as vulnerable to plane, and it's double the price, the same spot.
Yeah.
Right.
Those
Like,
tugs are
And we
insanely
split
good.
CLs earlier.
Tugs
we,
really
we
good.
miscalled on the opening because we saw a bunch of flares on the right side, which I later identified as just being your cap fleet because you spammed them all on one side. But
No, it was Pentabrick. But they just rotated.
We were initially going like C and then gonna move E later, but then we were like, oh, well, there's so many flares there, we'll just not even bother with C, which was a massive miscall from our opening because like I could have denied C right from the start. That would have been a much better position.
It was really confusing because like you guys were low and then like pitched towards E. So like we had more than one time during the match a let's push C that then we like just backtracked and that ended up on a that happened a couple times. Just let's push and then no, it's not worth it because we have all the points. It's really fun first match.
Yeah, good games.
CC's tank so well.
Mhm.
The BB was
And
shooting them the entire time. Just
the thing I was confused about, I don't think I got shot more than like twice in either of those monitor matches. They just didn't shoot me.
Scrubbers mostly shot me, and the CLs were mostly out of range, like before getting fucked.
Well, the CLs don't want to take that engagement. 2 Acellos and a monitor ball. They are not going to win that one regardless of what they
No,
do.
for sure.
So I don't
But
think
when
they
they
ever really
did engage
committed to it.
when they did engage it, they were shooting the CCs instead of me. Which, like, if you have the broadside, yes, you should shoot the CC.
Right.
But if you don't, you need to shoot the monitors because the monitors will die. The CCs won't.
Right. 250 does not really do good against that angled armor.
Yeah, unless you catch them side on, in which case you instantly kill them. But...
Yeah, Bow on CCs can like 1v2.
You can 1v2. Yeah.
Yeah. If not 1v3. I actually haven't
You
tried
can
that
bog
yet
them.
because of the jamming, but like I actually do think that you probably would be able to 1v3 with CC against
I don't know
CLs.
about killing all three. It depends on like at what distance you start at. If you're closer, you can probably do it, but you can definitely bog them down for a long time, and it's 3k versus 1.5k.
And of course, like,
And
in an
in
isolated
CCs,
environment, they can split and just kill you because if
Yes.
if they're 90 degrees apart, you can't bow tank either of them, and then you die. But obviously, this real
It's
matches
never
are not
isolated.
isolated environments. So
also like those two CCs below D on Yukon. This last match, like once you get caught that close by CCs,
Yeah.
sorry, the CL,
Duke
it's GG.
Duke kind of got pinned there and was unable to really open the range. They were kind of forced to engage at close blank range there, and they just got picked apart.
Closing distance with CCs closing distance with CLs and CCs, if you know you can do it, is a good play. You can do it.
Right.
Close, they can't dodge, they die quick.
Yeah.
I do have a
Great games.
question. Is Off-Brand Moron a friend of one of you guys?
No.
No, I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
I think he's
I
a
know a
Hellbound
few.
fan.
I know a
Take it.
few off-brand morons.
I know Scrubbers.
Yeah, there's a couple in VC right now.
But if that's the actual person's name, then no.
All right.
Everything okay?
Oh no, everything's fine. It's just they really went to bat for 1-800. I was wondering if there's any connection.
Well, I'm just glad that the team that beat my team in the tournament got eliminated in the end. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't have favorites. I can't have favorites. I'm a caster.
Ban him.
course.
Ban him.
No, no.
The Shadow Realm
Um,
into the abyss.
Then we lose by forfeit. It's
Well,
terrible.
I think we'll wrap it up here, at least on the event stage. Again,
Yeah,
thank you all for
I'm-
participating. You want to say something, Dark?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that I'm gonna follow this up with some BBR testing on the Coliseum. If you want to participate in that, come on by.
All right. I'm probably gonna call my stream here, so I'll raid into your stream, give you some victims to play around with.
Oh boy.
All right, take care.
Good games. Good fucking
Yeah,
games.
these were. This was a really good way to end the tournament. All of those matches were like pretty close. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the replays.
The replays.
yeah, me too.
Hopefully, I did a
'Cause,
good job
like,
at casting.
I'll also upload all the perspectives from the tourney now, because I mean, you have to keep in mind that, like, because it's like a partial observability game, like Sensor Warfare and so on, like what the team sees is so much different than what specs see, right?
Right. I'm
That's a
very.
big factor.
I'm particularly interested to see your matches against us last weekend.
Yeah, I'll get those uploaded soon.
Yeah, just working with so little info. Great stuff, guys.
GG's.
Yeah, GG's.
GG indeed.
And hey, which
GG.
plushies are you guys picking?
They'll decide that
Oh,
soon.
yes.
Yeah.
Like,
I've asked them in their team chat. We'll get around to that.
All right.
Have to make my
just-
own plushies now.
We should probably thank Math Club one last time for the amazing plushies.
Yes, let's all
Yes,
thank
and
Matt
of course,
for the plushies.
I forgot to thank everyone. My sincerest apologies. Thank you to everyone that helped make the tournament possible. Dark for hosting the servers, the mod team for letting me use the main Nebulous Discord.
What
Thank
about
you
Liz
to
for making the
Solus
game?
for. Thanks for interrupting me.
Sorry.
I lost my train of thought. Just thank Solus for helping me with the sign-up sheet, and to all the players that participated, all 108 of you. Yeah. Stay safe, everyone.
oh, and Vastal, before you go, thank you so much for hosting this because you put in an incredible amount of work to make this happen, and we all really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Vastal.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Vastal.
We owe you a tourney that someone else organizes, so you can
Oh.
We do. We really do.
I did make this tourney well, two reasons. One, the community needed it. The other reason, I want people to make their own tourneys, so that I can play in them.
Yeah.
Stress tourney, Vestal.
Stress tourney.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Hell yeah.
Well, I'm gonna break up the call now. Stay safe and avoid hard narcotics.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Buff CL
Generally
indeed.
good advice.
Well, that was the end of the tournament, everyone. Very excellent send-off to that whole thing. Like I said, I've got some things to do today, so unfortunately I will not be able to really stream any longer today. Stream is still scheduled for tomorrow for some regular, just fun hangout games and fleet reviews, so if you want to be there for that, you can be. I still fully plan on doing it. But for now, I think we're going to raid into Darg, because Darg did mention that they're going to be doing some games on Public Test Branch. If you want to spectate what's changed in Public Test Branch, you can. The patch notes are available on the main Neb server. The big takeaways are that craft are more vulnerable to flak and all that. But yeah, I will raid into Darg, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow. Where is Darg? I need to find Darg. Hope, where is Darg? Please tell me Darg is, Yes, Darg is live. Okay. Raiding into Darg in... now, I guess. 10 seconds. Here we go. Alright. Have fun in PTB.
It isn't delayed by that much. It's only by maybe a second and a half.
I gotta update it.